Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
Feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle. Especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can? No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Get out, Eric. Get out of my studio. God damn it. I'm trying to do some radio in here.
Try it. And it's a podcast.
I gotta look at your furry ass walking through. Get out of here. Welcome back to the program, everybody. A couple weeks off for us as we went down to the National Homebrewers Conference.
And why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Tell how happy I am to be back in the saddle. back in the studio.
You should be.
I am happy, actually. It's good to be. We've been doing remote broadcasts, which suck.
There's no place like home.
I like seeing people meet them and all that. And
yeah.
It's just weird for them looking back at me.
Yeah, it is weird.
I had a great time doing them. I think they were amazing. We should only do those.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't buy that for a minute.
Well, I didn't do a single thing.
Right. You did live Dr. Homebrew last year. Did you like doing it that way?
It was fine. It was fine.
Seemed to go well. I was listening to one on the BN mobile app for some reason. Because it was on.
Well,
and
it
sounded pretty good to me. I think it worked well as a remote.
We do all right sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
The other times, though.
Sometimes it's really hard.
Before I get ugly, I want to thank our sponsor, More Beer, for being on the program. Sponsoring this program for 10 years now. 10. Yeah. We're officially 10.
In a row.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a good party down at the National Homebrewers Conference. More Beer was a part of that, too, along with some of our other sponsors, which I will talk about in just a moment. But thanks to More Beer for supporting us all these years. They're turning 20 this year. They've been around and still supporting this show, and we appreciate them for doing that. On today's program, we're going to be talking to Ironfire Brewing Company, who's on tap here at the Hop Grenade right now. I just had a Melt Your Palate IPA from them that was quite tasty. If you like IPAs, like I know you do,
I'll be checking that out for sure.
You might want to try the 5150.
Calibrating to you know what.
Plus, they brought us a bunch of others to try out also. So if you're interested in hearing the boys from Ironfire, they drove all the way up from Temecula, California to come hang out with us, and they brought some beer. So we've got several beers we're going to be trying here on the program. Plus, we've got 2 or 3 on tap out there in the Hop Grenade.
Sweet.
So that's fun. Wanted to give you a little NHC recap. It was a great week, another wonderful National Homebrewers Conference down in San Diego. You have a good time, Tasty?
I had a wonderful time.
Such a cool thing.
It's like my world there.
Yeah. It's fun. And then a place like San Diego is cool because you can go out and try all the other
there's
great breweries.
Yeah, it's a great town as well as...
I spent my last after on Sunday. I had the typical 4-day hangover.
Yeah.
Went out to Ballast Point and had another couple beers out there to kind of wrap things up.
Nice.
But it was a really good week. It was a productive week for the governing committee, I'll tell you that. We got a lot of work done. I felt like I'm like a split personality when I'm down at the National Homebrewers Conference, because on one hand I'm on the governing committee,
sure.
and I try to give good feedback and advice
about it, yeah.
And I ended up just inadvertently I sort of became the spokesperson for diversity in home brewing. There's a diversity subcommittee where Kim Wood and Debbie Serta and others are just doing a great job setting this stuff up. But just by accident in certain areas, I just end up becoming this spokesperson. And believe it or not, I have a degree in gender communication, which people don't know. And I'm so half the week I'm acting as an educated professional.
Yes.
The rest of the week I'm me.
So you just choose to communicate poorly on purpose. You know how to do it properly.
Well, I did meet the other black homebrewer down there.
Guy with the nuts?
With the nuts. He gave me his nuts, actually.
Yes.
What's his name? Dexter or... La Dexter, I forget.
La Dexterian.
Who's that? Really?
I think it is
That he was a funny
actually.
guy, cool guy. I liked him.
So I did meet the other black brewer. And then for some reason we ended up talking more about gender diversity for most of the week. But anyhow, I leave that feeling completely schizophrenic. I feel like I have multiple personalities.
Yeah, you're like it's like counterintuitive to every
How can I be two things?
base, instinct.
And be true.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there in Kim's panel, the diversity panel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had to shut my mouth because on one side of me is Andy Wood, and on the other side of me is Push Jack, and I'm like wanting to crack jokes, and I'm like I can't really do that.
Inappropriate.
And then Push and I are like, we got to go set the booth up. Like, so we had to bail. But
you're
it was
like, thank
right
God.
at that moment in time.
Because I'm about to burst.
Yeah.
If the Q&A would have came up, you'd have been in big trouble, right?
Oh,
you had to ask.
for sure.
But if they're really open to all sorts of diversity, they should be accepting of your opinion.
Well,
Also,
listen, nobody's accepting of his opinion. But I actually really enjoy these discussions. That's why I'm saying we got a lot of good work done at the conference as well as some fun. But I'm not going to lie, I do walk away feeling very strange.
Yeah, it's
very,
hard.
very schizophrenic.
Yeah.
But we did a couple of shows from there. Tasty and Jamil did some Brewing with Style shows, and then Jamil and John Palmer did some Brew Strong shows. So I'll be posting those for you here coming up soon. We also recorded a lot of video this year, not just the award ceremony, but video of Club Night, video of our trip down, video of the BNA 10 party.
Yeah.
So Push is working on all that stuff for you this week, and I think you're going to see a lot of video coming out of us here the next few days, the next week or so. But it was just another great event. I'd like to thank the American Homebrewers Association for putting it on once again. It was my 10th year going, which was exciting. And if you're not a AHA member, you should be. You can click the AHA link on our homepage. And going to events like this reminds me how crucial the AHA is to homebrewing. And Gary was really nice to us throughout the week. At the keynote address, he thanked us and Basic Brewing Radio, as a matter of fact, at the as part of his speech and how we've grown together and helped the AHA grow. And I really feel that way, and mutually, I feel like they've helped us grow too. Yeah. So just support the AHA because they support us, they support you, and they do some great things. Just click the link right there on our homepage. BNA 10 was kind of a shit show.
It really was.
But I think we're very lucky that no one walked off the end of the pier.
Oh, my God. Well, there's that.
There was no fence.
There was no, which I mentioned ahead of time, so I think maybe everyone was hopefully aware, like everyone stayed in the center.
Yeah.
I did mention on the show, like, there's no fence. People will die.
We had some rad beers, though.
Yeah.
We had great beers.
Yeah, everybody brought great beer.
Which is what I think ended up making it the great event that it was because, boy, did we screw some things up as usual. But in the middle of it, after the stress... Well, stress was still there, but I got a moment to walk around, have some beers, and I sort of looked around, and people were just raging.
Yeah.
Like, it was a raging party.
They had, like, the most... It was the most smiles I had seen at a BN event. Because we didn't really screw, like, ticket sales up or... I mean, the buses kind of got borked. But
we screwed the bus
company.
up. But
Did we screw the buses up?
No, the bus company screwed up.
The bus company screwed it up.
But
it doesn't matter. It's all a reflection of me.
Right. But I'm just saying, people were, despite the hiccups that any festival has, I think, people were stoked. And it was truly a really huge party instead of an event. And I think there's a line between what we do and events and parties.
You're right.
This was a party.
This was definitely a party.
It was cool.
And there was so much good beer at this party that and I've never been to an event, party, festival, otherwise like this. There was so much good beer that there wasn't even a line at the Russian River tent.
Yeah.
Rare
I mean, Moscow, you were there all night at the Russian River booth, and I'm not saying it wasn't busy and people weren't clamoring for it,
right.
But there were so many other good beers that it didn't have a line wrapping around the pier, like you see at every other fest.
Yeah.
And I saw that as a proud moment. Like I thought,
great.
Well, no,
holy shit.
To us, I mean,
maybe not to Vin, but
the out-of-towners probably were hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure Vinny was stoked about it too. Because
I think
every festival they go to ever of all time, there's always a line at Russian River, and people clamor for it. But
Yeah.
I think it's a reflection of the beer community in general, and what the quality of commercial beer that we have.
Yeah.
And San Diego's included in that.
And of course, so the Rare Barrel did have a line going around the place, and they brought just so many cases of everything they've ever made.
Yeah, they really gave it.
And so I got to thank them personally, Jay and Alex down there, and Alex brought his ass down there to pour as well, and he didn't have to do that, and I just thought that was cool. So I want to thank them. I wanted to thank Sean O'Sullivan, who not only was a sponsor of the event, but also came down to celebrate with us, and I cried on stage thanking him because he's such a part of the BN.
The very beginning.
Since the beginning. So just a lot of great support. I want to thank our sponsors, HopTech and Blickman, who sponsored the VIP party for you guys. I want to thank 5 Star Chemicals, who was a glassware sponsor. I want to thank GrogTag and Nico Brew and Pico Brew. They were sponsors, and they sponsored the transportation this year as well, which was really nice of them. So just so many people to thank. And then, of course, White Labs, who was our co-conspirator in the party, and they were celebrating their 20 years, and they sponsored the event. They were headliner with us and just so supportive. So I could not be more thankful. I'm happy it's over. Another
true.
10 years before I have to get all sappy about another milestone, and another 10 years before I have to feel like it has to be some enormous thing. Now we can just go back to just throwing parties. Just let me throw some regular old parties again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
One that Philadelphia one. Remember that one? That one was not regular. That thing was off the hook. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a hell of a party.
Yeah.
So it's in Baltimore next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell we're going to do there.
Not get shot.
Yeah,
that's true.
My goal.
Come on. Things will be all settled down by then, And plus, just bring a gun or something. I don't know.
Don't bring one. I know where to get one. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do, but I have a feeling we're going to go smaller next year. Maybe I say that every year, but I feel like we need to go smaller. We need to find a venue that can handle enough people that we can sell enough tickets, but I'm not going to worry about accommodating 2,000 people. We picked a venue this year to accommodate 2,000 people, and I think that worked out well because it was San Diego. But doing that, I lose years of my life stressing out about this. So I feel like we're going to go smaller and bigger, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Kind of like Philadelphia, actually, Tasty, where it's like a smaller venue, but a bigger bang.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You might have to pay a little more to be there, but you're going to get more out of it, and I won't die soon.
Well, maybe.
Sooner.
Yeah, more sooner.
Yeah, something like that.
I like it. I think that'll be good. Because we do that pretty well. The intimacy... That's what we're all about. Our show is really intimate. And
I agree.
Our audience is kind of we're all intimate with one another, but biblically and figuratively.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that.
I have photos and
Bevo, don't try to say we're not intimate.
Yeah, but I think we could pull off a more intimate setting more often.
Stop saying intimate.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, a more rapey setting, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah, which is different. I mean... All right, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to work on next year just yet because now we have to go to work on Winterfest. Which is never-ending cycle of parties, which is pretty much always
That's the problem with planning 2 parties a year.
Imagine we had more. People always ask, why don't you do a summer one again? Why don't you do a spring?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck off.
Juno, who works at BSG, that's his side job, essentially. He has a job. He has a company.
But he just does one fest.
No. He does 5 a year.
Oh, whoa. I thought he just did the one.
And not in the same area.
Why?
No, it's expanded.
Right. Wow.
I don't know. He has a business partner. And
he must like stress.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I can't.
Out of area. So places in the Midwest who have a collection of craft beer and it's growing, but they don't have a fest, they go, hey, come generate a fest in our area. So they go out of town and do it.
Wow.
So they're not even here in their local area to pull on the resources or whatever.
If I didn't have another 2 jobs, then that would be great. I would, it's kind of. There are parts of it that are fun. I like throwing parties. It's just logistically it gets gnarly.
Yeah.
All right. There's something else I want to talk about here in the beginning of the show, just to get it out into the ether, and it has to do this Homebrew Club of the Year debacle.
Ah, yes.
Let it out.
How much fun, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It's a great competition.
It's such
Good
a weird
sportsmanship.
The internets are buzzing for sure.
Well, listen to this. All right, this is sort of how it starts.
Year. Sponsored by Rogue.
Let's start that.
Sponsored by Rogue.
The Homebrew Club of the Year. Sponsored by Rogue Ales. The winning club gets a special Rogue experience.
Again.
And earns this award by winning the most points in the National Homebrew Competition, both the first round and final round.
I'm even nervous listening to it again.
The winning club in 2015 for the Homebrew Club of the Year award is the Brewing Network.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, isn't that amazing?
You don't get that when you're in the front.
I didn't hear all of that.
Yeah, I had to go back to the tape.
Maybe I just couldn't hear it over my grimace.
I knew it was bad, and I could see it because I was sort of looking out into the crowd, but it wasn't until I
didn't remember that many claps.
Beardy's like, I knew it was that bad.
That was our table.
Yeah, I was in the back, and I didn't hear all those claps.
So the Brewing Network Club won Club of the Year for the 5th time in a row, and as I took the stage to accept the award on behalf of the club, which may or may not ever happen again, that's what I saw and heard, and it was disheartening.
Yeah,
it's been happening the whole time, and boy,
even the first year. Did you get,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was nothing like that.
Sure.
But which I find weird, too. That's actually why I've been upset about it, I think, almost every year, because even the first year, there was a group of booers. And I remember writing to the governing committee because they were my friends, and we had been talking about all sorts of things. And guys like Harold Gobranson and a few people on the governing committee at the time were sort of warning me that, hey, this Club of the Year thing could get weird. And I wrote into them after just expressing my disappointment in homebrewers. I was really bummed out. And they were all very nice to me. Harold's a cool guy because he basically was like, in a sort of nice way, but also in his kind of New York way, was like, dude, suck it up. Don't be such a pussy. People have been complaining about clubs winning Club of the Year over and over and over again and how big they are and their size. It's been happening the whole time. Yeah. I mean, I think Quaff won for some club. Actually, it might have even been another club before them, won for like 10 years in a row.
They won for a while.
And, so he told me to suck it up. And I kind of did for a few years. Then I kind of forgot about it because I know how important it is to Brewing Network club members. Our listeners who don't have a local club and consider us their club, I know how important it is for them to be able to enter a beer under the banner that they believe in. So I'd sort of forgotten about it. But this year, God, it was just kind of intense. Some guy got up and booed and stormed out of the room.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, he has too many feelings.
That's a lot of feelings.
Yeah, there were too many. And I don't know, what makes me feel really upset about the whole situation is that last year, leading up to this year, last year's win, I didn't want us to win because I didn't want to feel bad about it. And this year I was like, it was worse. And I feel like it's just like compounding, and that's not really fair.
It's not fair.
Like, it's not, I mean, not even just us, like our club members. It's not fair to them. Like they earned it. They deserve to be happy about it.
And that's those are the only people I feel bad about. You can boo me all you want because I could really give a shit.
Fuck you.
But I feel bad for our listeners, right? Because here they are, just homebrewers like all of those people in that room, and submitting beer under the Brewing Network banner, and then to be booed for it. Turns out they're a lot less sensitive than I am. So most of the comments I get from our club members are like, "Yeah, dude, we don't care, F the haters," kind of thing. But here's what I want to talk about because I'm tired of it. And what happens is that there are people out, the world is run by idiots. And the idiots are about to run things again. I think I'm going to let them because I feel like we should stop entering. That's what I feel like. I feel like, and I mean it, those of you who are listening right now who are out in the crowd booing, I think you're a fucking idiot. I think you're disrespectful. I think you're an idiot. I really do. I think you don't have a head on your shoulders. I think the fact that you would blame another homebrewer or a club for the rules that we don't make it's just idiotic.
Right.
And then your behavior in the moment is beyond idiotic. It's also kind of disgusting. And I think you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, I don't mind if you don't like the rules and you don't like how Club of the Year is set up. I wouldn't call you an idiot for that. If you have opinions about how the rules should be changed so that larger clubs compete in a different way, I don't think that's idiotic. What I think is idiotic is the people who you are holding accountable which are my club members. And in some ways me, but I have a pretty thick skin. It still makes you an idiot. But you're holding the wrong people accountable. And I don't know who you're writing letters to or who you're talking to all week long, but it feels like you're bottling it all up and then waiting for the BN to win Club of the Year again, and then expressing all your displeasure at the people who can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about how the competition is held, and neither can my club. The only thing I can do is stop giving you the opportunity to be disrespectful, and that's how I feel. I feel like I don't really want you to have the opportunity to be disrespectful anymore. I'm giving you the option to shit on my club members. Guys who brewed great beer and won medals for it and got points for the club. And then by going up there year after year, I'm giving you the opportunity to be a douchebag. And I kind of feel like taking that away from you. Now, the Quaff guys, I know for a fact, who I mentioned on stage, are about the classiest club I've come across. They don't want us to stop competing because they know that the system works. It's the same way it's always been, and you have to brew great beer. And sure, we all understand that there's a numbers component. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. I get that the size of our club has something to do with this. By the way, when we step down, the size of Quaff is going to dominate you for the next 5 years as well.
There's only 3 other clubs that will fill that void.
Bend over and get dominated by that.
The third-place club this year was less than half of our score, and Quaff was only 8 points behind us.
But this is what I mean.
And so there's not even a competition.
But this is logic.
Quaff.
And these idiots booing the wrong people and the people who can't change anything clearly don't understand logic. So, anyhow, I partially feel bad if we were to pull out because that denies Quaff the opportunity. They really like this healthy competition.
I bet their beers, they were great, making great beer.
Yeah.
They're making even better beer now.
Yeah.
Rising to the occasion.
They have been. And the spirit of the occasion between us and Quaff and Austin Zealots, by the way.
Yeah.
A few others. Forgive me if I haven't named your club because I know a lot of you are very supportive.
Those in St. Paul are also up there.
Talking about the supportive ones, though.
Actually.
I think St. Paul has. There are definitely lots of members of St. Paul who have been supportive, and there are lots who have been vocally unsupportive. And
I just meant competitors.
But competitors. But I guess what I mean is, like, I feel like I'd be doing them a disservice by just forfeiting because Quaff doesn't want to win by default. But frankly, I don't want to stand up there anymore and give people the opportunity to treat other homebrewers that way. I just think it's a terrible thing to do.
To me, it's real. I mean, I share all the sentiments of it's disgusting, but the BN is my club. It's the only club I've had since 2009 when I started homebrewing because I was in the middle of Minnesota. The nearest actual practicing club was 2.5 hours away.
Right.
I'm not going to drive 2.5 hours each way once a month to just go to a homebrew club meeting.
Sure.
I'm going to listen to the podcast, participate, send my beer in to get tasted, do pretty much everything that you do at a normal homebrew club meeting.
Yeah.
And enter under that banner and be a part of that community.
And see, that's what I know that's what our club is all about. And we've stood up here and we've talked about that. But I'm tired of explaining it. And worse than tired of explaining it, I'm more tired, like I've already said, I'm tired of giving the opportunity for people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about to disrespect other homebrewers.
Well, as if you need to have a reason to join the club. Like, the explanation you just gave makes sense. I did hear a lot of people saying, I do have a local club. I'm not 2 hours away, but I choose to join the BN because I like the podcast. I get more info there than I do wherever, so that's my club.
That's their club.
So what, as if you, I need to explain myself to you why I joined the BN.
But that's what it is.
I want.
Right.
And I agree with you 100%. But that's what's happened. Now our listeners have to go out and they have to explain themselves. I think we got Susie on the line who wants to chime in on this too. And by the way, 888-401-BEER, 888-401-BEER. I probably won't call you an idiot if you call in. I can't guarantee you anything. But I'm fine with opposing viewpoints. I'm more trying to make the point clear that we're not the ones who make the rules or change the rules. And even on my Facebook post today that I was having this conversation because I wanted people to be able to chime in, people are like, well, why don't you just do this? And it was all about rule changing. And why don't you just do this? What are you talking about, you?
Yeah.
Who the hell am I?
We don't do anything.
Right.
I have nothing to do with the competition.
What baffles me, and because you're like, well, I don't know who these people are writing letters to or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not writing letters to anybody.
Right.
They bottle it up because it doesn't bother them until 5 minutes before the announcement of Homebrew Club of the Year, and then it bothers them for 2 days after when they get on internet forums and start talking a bunch of trash, and then it doesn't bother them. So they don't really care. They just want to hate on somebody, and everyone hates on the big dogs.
Well, I'm tired of giving them that opportunity.
A year later, at the next banquet, they get to boo all over and starts the cycle over.
They should contact their governing board member who's in charge of the competition committee.
Yeah.
You know, when Quaff had their run, and this could be a rule that Quaff may have came up with, they changed the rules so that you can only get maximum so many points in one category across all regions. That's when Jamil was entering up here and for Quaff, and he was in this region, and then of course they were entering just in their own region down there and getting a fair number of points. But he would sweep a category here, and they would sweep one down there, and
it was over.
And it was like, well, that's a lot of points. So they put a cap on it. I think it was like 20 points or something like that. It's a little bit more than sweeping a category. But the rules were changed because people wanted them changed. I think that's still an option.
Yeah.
I think the Brewing Network, under some rule changes, could actually still compete. Maybe regionalized or something.
Totally.
Well, so I'm going to talk about that too in just a moment, because I'm glad you bring that up, because in my mind, I see two options for us, and one of them is that we stop competing, and part of that is a middle finger, and part of that is that I just don't like it. I don't think that we should be treated that way. The other one is to split the club into East and West or something, or 4 regions, or God, I would love it if we split up the club into several regions and still one Club of the Year. Yeah. So that would it? Do you think then it would finally prove that you just have to brew good beer? Like you have to brew great.
We just said these people aren't logical.
Let's get Susie on the line here. Hey, Suze, what's happening?
Hi. What's worse than being an Asian female driving on the phone is a girl with only one contact who's Asian female and driving it on the phone.
Wow.
Pull over on the side of the road. Call AAA for God's sake!
You're going to hurt somebody.
You're
going to hurt somebody.
Police station. Turn yourself in.
What do you think, Suze?
Well, Casey said basically everything I was going to say. Honestly, the booing needs to stop. I spent most of Saturday night trying to explain to people who aren't educated enough to know that Quaff had 5 wins in a row, who didn't know that, St. Paul had 2 out of 3 years in a row. People are going to hate on whoever's on top and whoever's winning. I don't think a lot of people know that, Quaff only lost to the Brewing Network by 8 points.
Actually,
so
Janice, I might be wrong, but Janice that night told me it was 4 points.
4 points?
The website says 8.
Okay, so she corrected it.
The website says 8.
Okay.
And over the course of the last 5 years, those Austin and Quaff have been, right behind the Brewing Network. So if it wasn't us, it'd be some other big club. My club, the War to Wisdom, is only 25, 30 people deep. We're never going to win Club of the Year. But we don't boo. That's just wrong. Have respect for other brewers, man. They're having, the moment of their life. If you were to win an award like this, you'd be hella happy. You should not be, greeted with a lot of boos. That's just so disrespectful. Not to the Brewing Network, not to just the brewers, but to the whole community of homebrewing. It's sad. People need to stop.
Thank you, Suze.
Or else I'm going to kill you.
Else you're going to get...
run you over.
Yeah, run you over. All right, I won't mean it, but I will.
Yeah. I may get someone else, but it was meant for you.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Susie.
Love you.
With the gap so close and all the booing, especially once you started talking, there were people that tried to boo over you talking. That made me, instead of how you're saying, let's just not compete, that made me want... I didn't compete this year. That made me want to enter the maximum next year, just to... let's blow this gap out of the water for all you sourpusses out there. So I won't be talking anymore. And someone came up to me afterward and said, hey, and I don't believe this is true. They said maybe people would boo less if you didn't get up and talk every year. And for one, I don't think that's true because the booing had started immediately. Mm-hmm. Right. But two, I'm going to tell you, the only reason I get up and talk every year is because of you people booing. Frankly, I'd rather just everybody in our club feel comfortable standing up there, taking a photo, reveling in the moment as they should, and walking away. But the fact that you idiots are out there doing that, it just makes me feel like I have to stand up for my people. I have to stand up for my club and at least say a couple words to let you know that you're being disrespectful and that you're not treating home
homebrewers the way you should treat people. So it's kind of this weird cycle. Like I stand up because people are doing that, and then maybe they do it more because I stand up. I won't be doing that anymore. But frankly, I don't know. Like I said, I'm putting a couple things on the table. It's not my decision. All right, it's the club's decision. There is one other thing that I should be honest about that I don't like about the negative viewing of the Brewing Network Club, and that is it does bleed over onto the professional entity that is the Brewing Network. And I am concerned that if there is ill will in the homebrewing community for the Brewing Network Club, that it bleeds over to our company. And I don't want that. And I do have to make sound business decisions based on that as well. I think right now we give so much to the homebrew community for free that we have we're mostly seen in a positive light. And if that is altered because of this weird club rule, then I have to do something about that. So short of that, the rest is not really my decision, but I'm strongly recommending to our club today a couple of choices. One of them is that we drop out of competition entirely. And part of me wants to do that, I said, to give the middle finger to those that have been disrespectful. Then fine. Then I don't want to be in the room with you. I don't want to play this game with you. I want to take my ball and I want to go home. It's basically the answer, is I guess what I'm saying.
Can I be the voice of our club members who are listening to what you just said and just I'm surmising what they might respond.
Sure.
Wouldn't a bigger middle finger be to continue to win?
I guess.
Yeah, to me, it's let's blow this gap, not make it close, and clear it by like 40 points or something like that.
I guess so, but when I then think about the big picture, there's a lot of casualties of that method. So here's one thing I think about. I would love clubs like Doe's and Quaff and the Zealots to be able to feel, I think Quaff feels like they have a chance every year. You can tell by how close they are. But I know for a fact that some of the others like Doe's, who are a little smaller than Quaff even, feel like now they never have a chance to win Club of the Year again. And I don't like that. I would like them to feel like everyone's got a dog in this race. I would like the Zealots to feel like, who, by the way, were winning so many medals in the second round. I was so happy for them. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. A come-from-behind win from the Austin Zealots. I was really... As a homebrewer, I was rooting.
Yeah.
I was so excited to stand up and cheer anybody else who won Club of the Year. Like, they were getting a standing ovation. Like, I was ready for it. And I feel like everybody else should exercise the same...
I was convinced that we had lost.
So,
I thought
we might have too.
Else.
Yeah, I thought we might have. So there's that. I do think you're right, Moscow, that the ultimate middle finger to the Brewers would be to just keep on going. But I'm concerned about some of the fallout because if other clubs, if they never feel like they can compete, again, I can't change the rules, but maybe I can alter the name of the game. And that's where option number 2 comes in. And that is that we split the Brewing Network Club into regions, and people enter that way. And now, maybe because we're reducing the size of our club, we level the playing. In other words, if you're not going to write in and get the rules changed, and if the rules aren't going to change, you're kind of looking to me, in a very douchey way, to change the rules for you by reducing the size of my club. And part of me feels like maybe that's something we should consider.
But that doesn't fix Quaff almost doubling the point score of third place this year.
It doesn't. I think Quaff is proving that the argument is somewhat ridiculous against us being a club.
Right, because
so
one
close.
club can get 8 points away from a national-sized club.
Yeah. But again, I just don't want to be a part of it. And I don't know that I want our club to think about whether or not they want to be a part of it. Now, the feedback I get from our club is all the time is the same thing, same reason I've been sticking up for you guys for so long, which is that you're our club, man. Who else am I going to enter under? Like, you're our club. And I don't want to take that away from you.
I'll tell you what won't be taken away is if there was a Brewing Network, north, south, east, west. Is there another one? And
there's only 4 directions.
Yeah.
Mid. And in the standings every year, one was third, one was fourth, maybe one was second. You know, maybe they're like in the mix,
they're
the
all
top 10.
Yeah.
Everybody in that, each of those regions would know if there was one club, they'd be at the top.
We would have won. So we would always have an asterisk next to whoever won that year.
If they would be there, yes.
Yeah. So, but you see what I'm getting at, Tasty,
Sure,
with this. And now I genuinely would love it if we split it into 2 or 4 or something, and then one of our regions still won. Nothing would make me happier.
We'd have to split.
In fact, you know how I try to be very diplomatic up there on the stage? If that were to have happened, I would actually just stand on the stage with my middle fingers out to the crowd. That's what I would do.
Not say anything.
I wouldn't say a word. I would just walk up and I'd be like,
one, you go up there and badmouth South.
Yeah.
Like any other clubs.
Yeah. Get off your ass, South.
I guess we got some more calls, and I did want people to be able to chime in on this. So looks like we got Token on the line. I was like hearing from Token. Token, I met Token.
Diversity in this show.
I met Token 2 last week too. So watch out.
Hey, that's awesome.
He's coming for you. What do you think?
Hey, you know what? It's good to know that there's another black home brewer besides Andy Johnson and me. So
Sorry, Token 3. You're right.
Yeah, that's right.
Terrence home brews every now and then.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think about all this nonsense, Token?
You know, the great poet Ric Flair once said, "In order to beat the man, you have to be the man," or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm paraphrasing.
Right. Yeah, paraphrasing.
In line.
You know what? Look, man, I say fuck them. Fuck them, man.
Yeah.
I will. Some of them are good
That's
looking.
my way.
Yeah.
But
Fuck them, dude. I mean, look, man. I took the time and read through all 14 pages of that stupid forum on the damn AHA website, and it's just a bunch of losers, man. It's fucking sour grapes.
I didn't even read that yet. I'm glad I didn't.
And it fucking pisses me off, man. So next year I'm entering. I'm fucking maxing out next year. Man. Come to the BN.
See? I'm telling you, that's going to be everyone's reaction.
Max out, baby.
Yep.
All right.
That's right, man. Yeah, and I actually have 2 homebrew clubs here in Atlanta. We have Covert Hops and Alphabet Brewmasters. Awesome guys, but I just don't feel comfortable in their club. I mean, I've learned more from the BN. I've been a listener since 2005. I read probably 6 or 7 books about home. Part of the stuff that I've learned about homebrewing came from the BN, from interviews with Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer and Sean O'Sullivan and everyone else you guys have had on over the years, man. You guys have done more for homebrewing than anyone else. So, I mean, if they don't like it, fuck them.
All right. Well, thank you, Token. I guess I just worry that that's the kind of attitude that's going to get the BN. Maybe we would stop reaching so many homebrewers if this ill will keeps festering, right?
Well,
and I'd like to keep reaching homebrewers and disseminating this great information. And I don't want this Club of the Year, this misdirected Club of the Year anger to get in the way of that.
Well, the problem is, I mean, it's what you said. We don't have control over it either way. We don't have control if the AHA keeps the rules the same or if they change the rules. It's not up to us to decide that.
And do you think the number of brewers is going up?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You paused for a second.
Yeah. Sorry, Warren. Please continue.
No pausing.
I'm done.
Yeah. Great. I lost my train of thought.
Shut the fuck up, Beardy.
You're doing great, Warren.
All right. So I knew that this next gentleman on the phone couldn't resist calling in. He thought he could resist, but I knew he can. Beer Pal.
Yeah.
From Martinez is on the line. Hey, Beer Pal. How are you, buddy?
Hey, calm down first.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good, and I got. Well, it's more than 2 words, but the premise of my call is fuck you. You don't get to quit now. You gotta let us get. We gotta win our money back. You don't get to walk away with all the money and never play again.
Yeah, you just busted the whole table and then cashed out.
We're coming after the Brewing Network, and I agree with you. Fuck anybody who boos. That's bullshit, and you don't even deserve to be in the same room if that's how you treat other homebrewers. But do not, please don't walk away now. We want to come after you. And oh, by the way, this poor Doze, they'll never win Homebrew Club of the Year again. Whole thing. Fuck that.
Well, wait.
Sure.
No. Let me correct. I didn't mean to say that I feel that way. I was concerned that you guys would feel that way. Like, oh, we.
I know that's what you.
Okay.
I know that's what you felt, and I said, "Fuck that! Don't feel sorry for us. We're coming after you. God damn it!"
See, this is what I want to hear, but and this is the healthy part of the competition. But unfortunately, it's not what's happening on the world stage.
I understand 100% where you're coming. I wouldn't want to stand up there and have 500 douchebags booing me either.
Right.
But please don't quit now. I mean, man up.
Well, and
Make
frankly,
JP go up and accept the award. Here's the idea: you anoint JP club chairman, and you don't have anything to do with it, and then he has to take all the shit. He deserves it. Come on.
Yeah, I would be way more elegant.
Right.
So now, Beer Pal, this does weigh heavily on me because I do feel like for those of you who are competing and who get it and have this great competitive spirit, I'm not trying to take that away from you. I don't like that part of this solution. I don't know what else to do. It's bullshit up
you
there.
You can't do anything.
You know?
That's the I think the point I was trying to make. You can't.
You've got so much on your shoulders, Justin, that to have this on top of it. I mean, I absolutely 100% understand where you're coming from. I just hope that you have a change of heart and that we get the chance to knock the Brewing Network off, down a peg or two.
So do I.
Down, yeah.
That's what
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah. Well, so I always felt that way too. That it definitely will happen, and it will happen. I thought it would happen this year. I'm concerned it's going to go on for another 5 fucking years. That's what,
Two words. Here's my 2 words, and you'll be hearing them more often. California Mega Club. Remember that.
Okay. All right, Beer Pal. Thanks, buddy.
So what's...
All right, have a good show.
Cheers.
Maybe I'm just missing something. What would be wrong with the solution of you just don't get up and do the speech? That's the only thing that changes.
No,
would still boo.
no, because
So
it's not just the booing that's happening right there. It's the general attitude. It's the consensus. So there would still be booing of whoever got up on stage and did. It's not the booing. It's the principle of the booing. That's what's got me perturbed. It's that people feel that is an appropriate reaction to this, and I don't want to be a part of it. So the booing itself, Gary looked at me on stage kind of like with this blank stare, like I don't know what to tell you. I just smiled right back. The booing, I really don't care. In fact, I hardly heard it. I could sort of see it, but I could hardly hear it. But I can hear what's behind it. That's what bothers me.
But it's so few people, though.
Well, do you think it's growing?
Not in that room.
Well, not in that room. It's a minority.
I'm like standing up, looking at nobody else standing up.
Well, I'd be interested to see this AHA thread like that Token just mentioned, because maybe it's a vocal minority. And that's what makes me wonder about then how much bigger it is. And again, I don't know, why does this club have to be the example? Like, why do we have to get an example made out of us? I'd almost rather just, But they didn't get booed like we do. I mean, there was some murmuring.
They got the daggers.
They got the daggers. There was some murmuring in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't get, the blatant.
No homebrew.
It's just the online
terrible
stuff.
to do that.
It's us being an online club. That's I think what people are pissed off about the most.
Yeah.
And with Quaff, I mean, if we weren't here, it would be Quaff. It would have been Quaff the last 3 years. It would have been Quaff this in 2015. And, the smaller clubs wouldn't have won anyway. So it's people just getting pissy. But, you can't do anything about it. We, as a club, can't do anything about it. People are twittering in right now. People are writing in the chat room, I don't want to stop. You guys are the reason I brew. You're the reason I learned how to homebrew, and I'm not going to stop because people are booing us.
So
they're still going to do it. It's up to the people to go to the AHA. No, it's up to the people who are bitching to go to the AHA. Stop writing on the forum. I spend a lot of time online. I know what the forums are like. People make comments online in a forum thinking the forum moderator is going to read it and then pass that information along because they don't understand how the real world works.
Yeah.
So write letters to Gary Glass. Write letters to all these people if you really want the rules changed and offer up a better solution than there is now. And shut the fuck up in the meantime. Do your diligence. It's like protesting in the park. Occupy whatever the fuck, right? It didn't do shit.
I like protesting in the park. It sounds like more fun.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. They didn't do anything. Shut up, Warren. I can hear you fucking start. Shut up. It didn't do a single thing to change anything. What changes things is voting and passing laws. That's how you change things in society. And the stupid homebrew club is no different.
So I agree with you.
Digest that.
I totally agree with you.
It got Winterfest.
I guess all I would say is that if we go the route of dividing our club, then we can change the rules for them. And maybe that's not the right thing to do. I think we got Nico Brew on the line here. Nico, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Good, buddy.
Hey, it was great to see you guys, San Diego. Had such a great time with you guys.
Good to see you, too. You're a handsome little man.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Just a little?
Yeah.
So something I've been thinking about, and something that I don't know why people are going apeshit over at the award ceremony, was the fucking Gambrinus Award.
Right.
I mean, that's, to be honest, no offense to everyone in the BN Club. Congratulations for winning. To me, the Gambrinus Award is even more impressive. It's how many people, it's about your second round points per entry, and you have to have at least a couple people advance.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter your size, it's just how fucking great your beer is, too. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that, I know the BN Club won because they put in a shitload of great beer, but people are bitching about, oh, it's a big club and blah, 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 but there's an award specifically for clubs that win based on the medals on percentage of how many people enter, which I think is really overlooked.
There's a quality per capita award?
There is, but here's what I'm saying. Remember my first statement? Idiots rule the world.
Yeah.
And all of these people don't understand this, and so our club, I feel, is paying the price for it, and that's what's bothering me.
Because the award is
Idiots rule the world.
Oh my God.
Everyone needs it.
And when Wales won this year, I stood up and booed really loud because I thought the BN should have won.
Right.
But nobody heard me.
I think part of the problem with that award, with the Gambrinus Award, is called the Gambrinus Award. It's the most lackluster, boring name.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it
mean
should be Ninja.
Club of the Year is what it says it is. And so I think maybe part of that could be changing the name from Gambrinus Award to Best Beer, or a club who makes the best beer.
Ninja Brewers or something like that.
Right. See, Nico, and this
Top
is what happens.
quality.
So people go, great idea. You guys should change that. You're right. Yes.
Actually, I did it.
Nico knows.
I'll get code to hack into the HA site.
All right, I gotta take some more calls, Nico. Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye, friend. Nico was repping in his skirt all week. That was cool.
He was. That's what I'm saying. He's a handsome. Andrew Wood is on the line. Andrew.
No. What were you just doing? A Johnny Cash song?
Yeah. What do you think, buddy?
Hey, I had an idea.
Okay.
Okay, so just stay with me on this. So I don't think you should change anything about how the club runs. I think you should keep it as a national club. And by the way, it's so dry out here, my voice has dropped 8 octaves, or my balls have dropped.
It's very sexy.
Thank you so much. That's nice of you. So I was thinking next year, when you win again, what you need is an anger translator, a la Key and Peele.
Okay. I haven't seen the skits, but please explain.
Okay, write it down because you're going to want to watch it so you have some context.
Okay.
And so basically what you do is you go up and you accept the award, and as you're being politically correct and you're not flipping the bird to anyone, I stand behind you, and yes, it would be me, lacing my fingers together and pacing back and forth behind you. And as you say, thank you so much for this award. My members are so excited about it. I will just come up and intermittently jump into the mic and say, yeah, motherfuckers, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so let's do this, man. So pretend like you're giving the speech, Jay, and then Andy, you translate.
Why didn't we do this? This is so great.
We're gonna do a run through. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Wow, I can't believe this has happened again. I'd like to thank all of you for being here for us to accept this award tonight.
For all you haters out there, let me just say one thing. Let me set it straight. You guys all stuck. You all stupid motherfuckers. That's right.
And really, I know that our homebrewers, our club, has brewed some amazing beer this week. And how about Quaff? I mean, what a great job they did.
Quaff can suck my dick. You know what I'm talking about? This is bullshit. It's bullshit.
I think we could do it.
I do need an anger translator.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I like this idea.
We'll have somebody sign what he's saying.
Yeah, can we have an anger signer as well?
He can sign it.
That would also be Andy Wood.
Yeah, Andy is also the sign language guy.
Yeah.
And remember, this is Andy Wood from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes. Right. All right. Thanks, Andy.
Cheers.
I really like this idea. All right, I'm putting it out there to the club. Okay, I haven't made a conclusion for you tonight because it's a club thing, but I do feel like there's a couple options on the table. All right, we could carry on like we're doing. I don't really recommend that. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, and there's something about it just makes me feel like in the long run, it's. we're doing more harm than good because the world's run by idiots. Choice 2 is that we drop out entirely. And then we can just sit in that room knowing that we would have dominated you had we had it not been for a bunch of idiots. And then I think choice 3 is that we consider some sort of splitting of the Brewing Network Club, East-West or 4 regions, 2 regions. I don't know. I would like you to talk amongst yourselves as a homebrew club on the forum. JP, why don't you start a forum thread for us, will you please? Let's put it under, I don't know.
The world is run by idiots.
Yeah.
Next year when we win,
I'll figure something out.
Figure something out and then publicize it for me, will you? And let's go have this conversation as a club over there so that you guys can chime in. And look, I'm not, I know the opinion. Well, F them, I'd like some logical and thoughtful discussion on the topic because I'm tired of it. I don't think our club deserves it, and I'd like a way to turn this around. So I don't want to just hear F the haters and all that. Let's have some thoughtful discussion on the topic in the forum.
Okay.
All right. Enough about all of that. Thank you to all of those who called in. By the way, I would have taken any opposing opinions as well and probably not yelled at you.
There was one on the voicemail, but I'm not even going to play it because it was just a proposed rule change. So now after hearing this discussion, I don't even think it's appropriate, really.
So, yeah, let me just reiterate again then. We don't make the rules. Do we work with the AHA? Yeah.
Yes.
We support the hell out of them. That's how we work with them. We support your hobby. We get out the information. We stream the awards so you can watch people win. That's how we work with them. I don't make a rule. If I were to go to Gary and say, hey, I'd like to see this policy change, he would look at me like the idiot I'm being.
So I do that.
Right to
I'm
them.
an idiot.
Well, as a member, that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. As a member, Gary's not on the competition head. No. Janice is, and you could. All of their emails are on the AHA website. You can get it all there.
Definitely contact these people.
But yeah, like I said, even on the very thread I posted today on Facebook, people are like, "Well, you should just change this." And you should like, who do you think? I stood up in the member. There's a members meeting that we do every year as part of the committee, and I stood up. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm the chair of the clubs committee. But the clubs has nothing to do with competition committee, and that's who advises. But I stood up there to sort of make the clarification and a joke, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm the chair of the clubs committee, which is not to be confused with the competition committee, so I am not part of some larger Brewing Network conspiracy to make us win Club of the Year. I went on to say I'm not sure that there isn't a conspiracy, but I'm just not part of it. Anyhow, don't write. I'm not the one who's going to change it. So... All right. Before we take a quick break, did I mention today that we've got Ironfire Brewing Company in the studio with us today? We got 3 of their beers on tap. So let's get to that good stuff right now. Quick announcements. You can always call in 855-WIN-DOTW and leave your Drunk of the Week emails, 855-WIN-DOTW. We're going to be at the Mammoth Blues-a-Palooza from July 30th through August 2nd. You can go get your own tickets to Mammoth and join us. I recommend that you do because they have a hell of a music lineup. Go to MammothBluesBruceFest.com. Trombone Shorty is playing this year, and he's a badass. Robert Cray, Robin Ford, Carolyn Wonderland, Ruthie Foster. I mean, you name it. This is 20 years of the Blues-a-Palooza Mammoth Festival of Beers. It's our first year going, and I'd love to see your face out there. So join us. Do your Amazon shopping by clicking the Amazon link on our homepage. That's a great way to support us. Subscribe and join the BN Army just by hitting the subscribe link. If you're a recurring donor, you get first dibs in our tickets. You get a monthly newsletter. You get all sorts of cool stuff. Get all these updates and more over on Twitter. And then finally, send your show ideas to Scott the Jew and send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Do we have a Twitter game today?
We do have a Twitter game.
Twitter game today is brought to you by the good folks over at craftbeer.com. Talk about somebody looking out for you and trying to get out good information. Craftbeer.com. That's what they're doing. Go check it out right now. What's our Twitter game?
Well, so I found this really awesome picture of you. I believe it's giving the quote-unquote acceptance speech for Homebrew Club of the Year.
Was it an acceptance speech? I wonder what kind of speech it would actually be classified as.
Well, that's a good question. Very defensive.
It's a future Twitter game.
Yes. But my 2 favorite parts are, number 1, you're doing this gesture, and I'll show you in a second. So I'm asking people, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay.
But also, whoever took the photo, major hair...
It's like a caption.
Really nice.
You look like Justin Timberlake.
Oh, my God.
So it's like color corrected, but kind of not, I guess. It's like over color corrected, and your hair has this frosted look to it.
Who does your hair?
Wow.
Simply amazing.
But that is simply amazing. I look like a gay Lion King, basically.
Lion Queen, if you will.
It clashes. It clashes with my gray highlights in the beard. I wish they had double highlighted me.
It's true.
Then I would be a very handsome person.
It's like almost HDR, but not. It's saturated the weirdness. Very weird.
Hakuna Matata, bro.
I didn't realize that some people actually got on stage with me. I was so focused on being booed.
Yeah, all the club,
So,
all the people who entered under the BN Club this year got on
that's
stage
really
with
cool.
you.
That's fantastic. All right, so that's our caption. This is basically
essentially, like what are you talking about? And we've gotten some good ones. I'm pretty impressed.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I believe we're going to talk to our Ninkasi winner when we come back, and then we're going to do Ironfire. I almost said Iron Fist, which would also be a cool name, but Ironfire Brewing Company when we come back. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
The Siebel Institute of Technology Continuing Education Campus is proud to present their Advanced Homebrewing course. It's the first ever advanced one-week course designed specifically for homebrewers. The Advanced Homebrewing course takes hobby brewers beyond beer kits and extract brewing into the realm of advanced brewing techniques. It's 5 full days of world-class brewing instruction at Siebel Institute, America's brewing school in Chicago. Information-packed, fun, and the perfect course for taking your brewing skills to the next level. You'll be surrounded by the Midwest's most vibrant brewing community. Get more information at SiebelInstitute.com. SIEBEL Institute.com. With instruction from Ray Daniels of the Cicerone program, Chris Graham from More Beer, brewing author and historian Randy Mosher, and Dr. Chris White from White Labs Yeast. The Siebel Institute Advanced Homebrewing course. Learn more at SiebelInstitute.com. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
The 21st Amendment. Watch out! Do you like beer? They make beer. Watch out! Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun. Watch out! Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment. Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out! This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a homebrewer's answer book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
What could be better than great blues music and great beer?
Yeah, rock your summer right at the 6th Annual Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival, Saturday, July 18th.
Come enjoy tasty beer, delicious food, and free live music.
The Chris Kane Band, Frankie G and the Conviction, Spin Out, Carumpus Room, and the Used Blues Band.
Unlimited beer tasting and VIP access available at beautiful Pleasant Hill Park. More than 25 of the best and some of the newest Bay Area breweries will be on hand, like
Sierra Nevada, Speakeasy, Mendocino Brewing, Drake's, Ale Industries, Rocksteady, and more.
Get your tickets right now for the Blues and Brews Festival at bluesandbrewsfestival.com. And Friday night will be a pre-party concert from 6 to 9 p.m.
Come enjoy the music of the Big Jangle.
Don't miss the Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival for great blues and great brews. Get your tickets today.
Brewcasters are back.
888-401 beer.
Whatever.
Well, that was a rant segment. All right, we are back. Before we move on to our guests for today, we wanted to do a special congratulations to this year's Ninkasi winner, who's won for the second time, by the way, Mr. Mark Shop, ladies and gentlemen. No booing.
He won something twice in a row that I've never been able to do.
You've won too much. We have to boo you now, Mark.
I guess that's how it works these days.
Price of success, I guess.
Hey, Mark, congratulations, dude.
Well, thank you very much.
You must. You know what? I was there, of course, in the audience, and I saw you keep winning those medals.
Very nice.
And I get super excited for homebrewers when they win medals, for one, because I know how much it means to them. But then when the Ninkasi thing comes up, man, I just love it. Like, the tension in the room is really cool, and I know how hard it is to win that award. So how did you feel like winning it that second time? You knew you had a chance when you started winning all those medals.
Yes, actually, when I won the third one, I knew I had a good chance. Before that, I was nervous because I forget who it was, but in the very first category, somebody won gold and silver.
Oh, right.
So that was, I thought it was done right then.
Right.
So it wasn't until I got my third medal that I caught up to that guy. Then I felt pretty good.
And you're Austin Zealots, right?
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay, I thought so. Because, boy, what a presence did you guys have every time you got a medal.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was so fun to watch.
We tend to be pretty loud.
I like it. Did you guys think because your club did very well in the second round as a whole, you're obviously yourself included, was there a moment you guys thought, wow, we might do this Club of the Year thing too?
Not for a second, no.
No, okay. That was just my really bad math.
I've already done the math, and so I knew going into it that it was a two-horse race.
Okay.
There was actually, we were the only club besides Quaff that had a mathematical chance, but we basically would have needed to get gold and silver for every beer that advanced the second round.
I see. Okay.
Just because of how heavily weighted the first-round points are.
Got it. Okay. Well, man, I was proud of you, and it was good to see. What are some of the beers that you won medals for? Let our listeners know.
So I won a bronze for an Eisbach.
Nice.
I got a gold for a Chipotle Lichtenheiner.
Wait, what is that? What's a Lichtenheiner?
You can get it from adamandeve.com.
Yeah.
Yes. So Lichtenheiner is a rare German style. It's sort of a sour smoked beer.
Okay.
I think like a cross between a Berliner Weisse and a Rock beer.
That sounds fucking amazing.
And then I added some Chipotle peppers to it.
What category is that? Specialty beer?
That was in the Spice Herb Vegetable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That seems like a tall order. Smoky and sour.
I want to drink it.
All in one.
Right. But the key is actually that all three components are rather moderate and evenly balanced. So it's not a very over the top beer. It's actually quite well balanced and drinkable.
Okay. And your Eisbach, what did that beer start out as before you?
It was a double bock that I then iced.
Froze it. Okay. What else?
And then my third medal was a silver in specialty beer. It was a iced Imperial Rauch beer.
Nice.
An iced Imperial. I want to have that too. Both
Unfortunately, the last bottles were sent in for the competition.
What percentage were you icing them up to?
It got up to 20%.
Wow.
Oh, man, you could have your own TV show.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
But I bet your beer tastes better.
Now, you have a particular slant toward German beers, or is this just coincidence?
It's just coincidence. It's really just what I had available to enter for competition.
Got it. How often do you brew?
I usually brew pretty frequently, but actually I took a bit of a sabbatical middle of last year to the beginning of this year. Basically didn't brew anything from July to March.
Okay.
So everything I entered in competition was actually all 2 years or more old.
Wow. Interesting. So that's beer that held up as well.
Yes, which is why it was such extreme beers that I entered.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah, you weren't entering 2-year-old IPAs.
Right. No, I mean I had a strategy I was going to follow. I was going to brew a bunch of beers in November and December and January and try them out in competitions to see which was scoring best, and then enter those in NHC. And then I just didn't even brew anything at all those months.
Did you just get busy, or
a little bit of getting busy at work and
slut.
Oh,
and
what do you do for
I got
work?
my brother. I got my brother started home brewing, and so I've actually spent all that time helping him brew.
Nice. Oh, good. We need more good homebrew out there, so keep teaching him, Mark.
I'll do.
Did you pour beer at club night?
I did.
Nice. That's the fun
part. In fact,
part.
I was the one that drove our kegs out there.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yep.
You were hardcore, man. Now, what do you think? Are you going to go for number 3 next year?
I'll definitely enter it. I don't have much hope of doing it again. It's
what is
lightning can strike twice. I don't know about 3 times.
Well, what does Gordon Strong have? He has 3, right? Is he the only one to do 3, or he has 4? I forget.
He has 3 in a row.
Oh, it was 3 in a row. That's right.
He quietly told me after my win that maybe I should go pro and not enter anymore.
Oh, there you go. What do you think about when you win medals like this? Does that make you think about going pro?
Oh, I've been thinking about going pro since I first started in the hobby.
Okay.
Winning medals makes me want to keep winning medals, actually.
I think our club feels that way, man.
Yeah, everybody's got their own addiction.
So what do you think? Is there a pro brewery on the horizon for you?
Maybe. I am doing a little bit of dabbling right now.
Okay.
I've got a beer out with a local brewery here in Austin called Rognus that they brewed using my recipe, and I went down and brewed with them.
Okay.
And it has my label and my name on it.
Nice.
You know what's going to happen, right, is tomorrow the news is going to break that he's opening up his own brewery, and we will once again be
scooped.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Tell us now, Mark, if it's a an item.
Yeah.
Nothing has been signed. How about that?
Okay.
That's fair. It's being signed at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, though.
What's your day gig, Mark?
I'm a software consultant for
a
computer software company.
Oh, so you're going to go from making money to making no money if you do this stupid idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you're smart so far.
Do you want to join the BN Club?
Yeah. You want to be in our club?
I'm happy as a zealot.
There you go. That's the right answer.
I liked it. I think that if I was going to fit into any club, it would be the Zealots.
I think so, too.
They're freaky enough for me.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have to live in Austin, which is great, but the temperature's too much for me.
I like Austin quite a bit.
Austin's amazing.
I can also deal with the temperature, man. I'm a desert kid,
that's
so
right. Yeah.
that'd be fine.
I'm a pussy East Bay kid. I can't deal with it.
But the Zealots, yeah, you guys have a little attitude. You're always wearing costumes, a little funk to you. I think I'd fit in.
You just call them smelly?
Yeah, right. They don't shower. It's great.
Only Mark. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations once again on your second win. Really, it's an impressive feat to get Ninkasi once, never mind twice, dude. You're a hell of a brewer.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thanks to the Zealots also for being a very cool club. Mark Shop, ladies and gentlemen, your Ninkasi winner.
Congrats, man.
Cheers, brother. Take care. There you go.
Both of those specialty beers sounded amazing.
Yeah.
An iced Rauch beer, love it. I would drink it. I would try it.
There should be like a Ninkasi, presentation room where you go in to congratulate him, and it's all his beer that he serves you, like whoever wins Ninkasi, because that beer's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Do the judges know the names? Like, do they know whose beer it is when they're tasting in these rounds of competition? They don't.
No.
So, I mean, that just lends so much more legitimacy to the high quality of the judges themselves, doesn't it? Like, if it's like the guy making the final table of the World Series of Poker, like, year after year after year, like, well, he's really doing something right. And if they don't
get
know
there
who's
all the time,
right?
yeah.
I mean, if they knew it was his beer and maybe there's some like
then
leaning
there'd be
towards
bias.
it, right?
This is always one of my arguments about the club thing too. Is that these judges don't know who they are? They're just judging stellar beer. There happens to be a lot of it entered, but
and there's
still
different judges also because a lot of it's regional. So
one of our staff out there, Jake, gave me a homebrew. He gave me his homebrew saison. You want to try it, Tasty? I gave him praise. You can feel free to rip him apart if you want. Give him.
It tastes like Chardonnay.
Yeah, it has like a Chardonnay flavor to it. It's Jake out there. He found it a little fruity for his taste.
He said it was a saison.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Yeah, it is real fruity.
It's a little fruity for you too.
Yeah,
I thought it was really nice. It is Chardonnay-like. It's fruity, but it's got a dry finish, which is
Yeah, it's all finished out. A lot of saisons stall. This one's dry.
Any feedback for him?
I would.
What to change?
Curious about what temperature he fermented at. Maybe
you think hot?
Probably pretty hot. It seems like.
Yeah, he used to live in Sacramento. Hey, Jake, what temperature did you ferment this saison at? He's walking in right now. He can hear me. So, what temp?
Let's see. I started it at about 68 to 70, and then it went up to about 73, 74 tops.
Okay, 73 or 74.
Gee,
that's not as high as I would have.
No, it's got a lot of pepper character.
It might even be too low. I mean, how does that? How does
maybe
that
it needs
yeast,
a little more oompa.
Saisons, go up to. Okay,
chase it and shut up.
So, what's the finishing gravity, Jake?
What hops did you use? Actually,
it's 100% Mosaic and
That's
Nelson,
why.
equal parts all the way through.
That's the fruity. Is the hop?
Yeah,
That's the fruity.
Yeah,
not even the ferment.
A lot of Nelson, kind of white winey kind of thing.
So this is the West Coast saison.
yeah, definitely not traditional.
Yeah, I would ferment higher in the 80s and drive that saison phenols.
I was actually doing it up in Sacramento, and it was actually a cooler week than normal. So
yeah,
you're like, damn it, damn you, Sacramento.
I was expecting it to get up higher, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, but that's the fruity.
Well, you got plenty of
hops,
plenty of phenols, except that the fruit's is overpowering it.
But I liked it. He brought me a taste, and I kept the glass.
Right.
So, thanks, Jake.
Cool. Well,
cheers, brother. All right. We've got Ironfire Brewing Company in the room with us today. Thanks for driving up here. We've got John Mano? Mano. All right. We got John Mano. And then, of course, John's the president and the brewmaster of the company. And then we've got Alec Clifton, who's a lowly brewer. Alec.
Yep.
But you got to come do the drive up here. How many people work at Ironfire? Just out of curiosity. You can try to get
in the production area?
Oh, hang on. That's my fault. Hang on. Try again. How many people work there?
In the production area, we only have me, my business partner, Alec, and one new guy, actually.
Okay.
So there's only 4 of us in production, and then we have about 4 girls working the tasting room.
Okay.
1 day each, and we have 1 full-time sales gal.
And how long you been open?
3 years.
3 years now?
3 years in July. Yep.
How many barrel system you working on?
15-barrel system, 30-barrel tanks, 40-barrel tank, and we just got new 60-barrel tanks in that we haven't got up and running yet.
And you're located in Temecula.
Yes.
Did you buy the old Blind Pig brewery?
No, we did not.
You did not.
But we've heard stories upon stories upon stories.
That's like Temecula's claim to fame, right?
It really is. Yeah, every guy that comes into the brewery helped Vinny bottle or do something. I don't know how much of it's bullshit or not.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that comes in, oh, yeah, I used to help Vinny bottle. So.
Yeah, I used to clean the toilets for Vinny.
That's
all
right.
That's you're proud of that?
Can I get you a beer?
No, 20-year-old with a crew.
Yeah. How is the Temecula beer scene otherwise? Because we don't hear a lot of breweries out of Temecula.
It's up and coming.
Okay.
After Blind Pig closed, there was only Black Market. They're the oldest one in Temecula right now.
Okay.
Then we opened, and about within 3 months of that, 6 other breweries opened up. So we got a lot of breweries there now.
Oh, that is a lot. 6.
Yeah.
Help me.
For a population of 100,000 people, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Temecula's kind of a weird. You're going to have to help me remember because so I grew up. What county is Temecula?
No, it's Riverside.
Okay, so that's where Moscow. That's what I was getting at. Is I thought maybe it was San Bernardino. I grew up in San Bernardino County,
right?
And of course, we would go to Temecula for whatever weird reason, like we needed grapes or something. I don't know. Temecula's a weird spot, right?
It is a weird spot. It's not even a mile past San Diego County.
Okay.
North inland.
But San Diegans consider it like no man's land, even though it's not a mile past the county.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people from LA think Temecula's in San Diego, so it's really strange. It's a strange area.
The Southern California Homebrewers Festival moved back to Temecula this year. And I avoided it for that reason.
Yeah.
Only based on some weird childhood memories of like Temecula being an odd place. But I talked to some people, and they said, no, it's great that it's back in Temecula, that it's a cool spot.
Well, they have it at, what is it, Vail?
I think it's Vail Lake, yeah.
Vail Lake,
yeah.
okay.
It's pretty cool out there.
Which is a good spot.
Yeah, it's a really good spot.
I just have these weird, hazy memories of like a lot of pollution and farm. That's how
farms are all gone.
Oh, really?
It's all
populated.
And that
now.
might have been some of the pollution too, like not even pollution, but just like haze from the steam coming off of farms. Now it's all like city.
It's mostly city with vineyards now. That's
Okay,
the biggest thing out there.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
city and vineyards.
It's Southern California's wine country.
Okay, now you came from Ballast Point before that.
I did. Spent 6 years brewing there.
That's a good place to learn the ropes.
Yeah, I like to say I knew how to make beer before Ballast Point, but Ballast Point taught me how to make good beer.
Okay, yeah. Under like Youssef. Youssef's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's also a douchebag.
And he's a prick.
He's a great and a hell of a brewer.
No, he's actually he was a great guy to learn under.
Okay.
Taught me everything I know.
So when you started, Ballast had just the one kind of smaller brewery in the...
No, I came in about a year or a year and a half after they opened up Scripps Ranch.
Oh, okay.
So the second big location.
Got it.
And that was the main production for a long time until they recently opened up Miramar.
What were you doing before you started there?
Before I started Ballast Point?
Yeah, before you started brewing.
Oh, I was a student at UCSD, homebrewing.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, so you didn't... This is cool for me because usually we have brewers come in and they had whatever. I was a lawyer, I was an accountant.
Yeah.
But you came out of college and got a job at a brewery.
Got a job at the brewery. I always wanted to open up my own brewery, but I figured I better get experience in it first because, I mean, why would you open up a business with no experience whatsoever? I mean, you can do that. It's scary, but graduated school and got a job at Ballast Point as a keg washer.
What was your
My parents
degree?
were very, very proud.
They're like, and they're paying your student loans at that point.
Exactly.
They're like, fuck this. What was your degree?
Ancient European history.
So they were already pissed off at you.
Yeah. Well, actually, the funny thing is both my parents have history degrees.
Okay.
One was an anesthesiologist, and my dad was a judge, so none of us used our degrees at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you say you always wanted to open your own brewery, does that just mean from your home brewing days or like in high school? How early are we talking?
Yeah, not high school.
As a home brewer.
Yeah. I loved drinking beer when I was in high school. But,
right. But you didn't think about it.
Yeah, so as soon as I started home brewing, I really wanted to do it on my own. I knew from then I didn't want to work for anybody else. I wanted to do my own thing.
It seems like a history degree is the equivalent of a communications degree. You can do whatever you want.
You could do
exactly.
But what did you think you were going to do with a history degree? Like a professor? Or
Actually,
move to France and smoke a lot.
Yeah, right. I used the history degree to transfer into UCSD, and then I was going to transfer my major to business because that's what I knew I was going to get into. Well, I'm an idiot, and I didn't realize that UCSD doesn't have a business school. So after I was in there,
I love it. So you're like, well, fuck it.
Well, fuck it. I actually enjoyed the material. I enjoyed the subject a lot, so I actually got to learn something that I really enjoyed a lot.
Got it.
Yeah, which isn't always true for college.
That's true. And also, and I say this all the time, I know others do too, so I don't mean to sound cliche, but really just finishing a program.
Right.
I feel like so I always say that it sets up employers to know that you know how to like run the course.
Exactly.
And do that.
You can set a goal 4 years in the future and you can meet that goal basically.
Yes.
And have $100,000 worth of debt.
So I think employers look at it that way.
Yes.
But now I don't have an employer.
Yeah.
And I look back at it still the same way. The things that you have to do, the hoops that you have to jump through, some of the bullshit you have to deal with, some of it is relevant, some of it isn't.
Yep.
That's just it's life.
You do
it's
it anyway
running a
because
business.
you have to do it.
Yeah,
I
I do think it set me up to run businesses.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I don't have a business degree, but jumping through stupid hoops made.
Yeah, and being sober 4 days a week.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, right. And being sober 4 days a week and jumping through hoops. So, like, even when we opened this place, I feel like I was much calmer about the bullshit the city, like the hoops that we would have to jump through, because I was like, yeah, well, it's like college now.
Yeah.
You know,
and who knows? Maybe the business degree would screw you up for actually running a business because they teach you how to do it on a book, but practice is something totally different.
I think that's true, although I think I make a lot of mistakes not knowing shit about running a business.
And you would know that there are a lot more profitable businesses out there besides brewing.
Than brewing beer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody tells you that you don't make any money whatsoever.
All right, so you get brewing experience.
Yeah.
But do you use it now, or you do mostly business?
Oh, no, I'm a head brewer. So
and you have time with the deck?
So we actually run a pretty small skeleton crew there for the amount of beer we make.
I see.
So all of us are cross-trained and everything. And, I do a lot of brewing still.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's fun then.
Yeah, if I did nothing but office work, I probably would have sold my shares.
Well, who's doing that?
Ago. We all are. My business partner, Greg.
Oh, he does.
Your
partner. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I split up the accounting stuff, and he does distribution paperwork and payroll.
Billing, yeah.
All that really fun stuff.
So lots of hats. We wear lots of hats.
Okay.
Good for you.
So you brew for 6 years or so at Ballast, and then what? You decide I just want to open a place?
No, I was developing the business plan throughout my time there. And hit a bump in the road where I found out, basically I don't have enough money to open this up on my own.
Okay.
And then
how much money did you think you needed at that point, if you don't mind me asking?
$500,000, $500,000.
Okay, well that's on the lower side. I mean, that's a huge amount. But.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it is on the lower side for breweries our size, actually.
Okay, but that's what you had sort of.
That was my bare minimum that we needed to raise,
and you didn't have it.
Didn't have it.
Okay.
So after like one particular company meeting, we had, the company meeting where you stand in a circle and you discuss stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's useless.
A meeting. For some reason, it sucked. I don't even know what it was about now. It's just some, I don't know. I'm an employee fucking... Like, I don't know. You just quibble and bitch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For some reason, it sucked. And Greg was on the brew house, and I was walking out. I had showed up early in the morning, and I was on my way out. And Greg felt the same way. He's like, hey, you want to open up your own brewery? This sucks, like.
Wow.
And, you know what? I have a business plan. Why don't I give it to you? You can look it over, see if you like it. And, if you like it, let's talk about it. So I gave it to him. And he read it over. He liked what he saw, and we decided to band our resources together and open our own spot.
I'm going to tell you what Greg liked.
What?
You had already written the business plan. He didn't have
helped.
to sit down and write all that bullshit.
The business plan has not lasted past the first week of actually spending money, but it got us money, I guess. But.
See, this is why I've never bothered to write a fucking business plan.
Yeah.
Because here's what everyone says: you have to write a business plan. And then they say exactly what you just said, and you're never going to use it.
Yep.
So I was like, well, then what the fuck am I... but I was never asking for money. So I had that advantage.
Yep.
Well, and it's like your college degree. It's what am I doing this for? I'm never going to use it. Why don't we do it anyway?
I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. And it sort of works out. Mm-hmm. And in this case, you do have to have something to show like that if you're going to ask for money, right?
Right, exactly. Okay. Especially a lot of money. They want to see something on paper. You can say, hey, Pop,
right.
Hook me up some money. I got this great plan. I'm going to make beer and make tons of money at it.
Take out another mortgage on your house.
Exactly.
It's going to be amazing. Check it out.
And I think the idea is to not stop planning once the business is open.
Now,
You're supposed to continue
more
planning.
Important.
Yeah.
That one I will never argue against.
But that's still
it's like
a business plan.
No, it is?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's a living thing.
Yeah.
I see.
Until you get money, and then whatever, fuck it.
Where did you get the cash? Banks?
We convinced a lot of family members on both sides to do it. So we don't have any outside investment,
Good
and
for you.
we don't owe anybody any money.
Okay, excellent.
Which is pretty nice.
They gifted you the money?
No. They expect to get payment, but not not anytime soon.
So do they own? And I only ask
they
this
don't
'cause-
own anything.
Okay.
It's only two
Oh, wow.
owners. Yeah.
So 2 owners, and they don't own anything, but they'll get paid back with interest, or
Of course.
okay.
Yeah.
I only ask
And
because
free
there's
beer.
so many ways to like run the business and get money, and I think our listeners are curious about.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, banks won't loan you anything. I mean, our bank will barely loan us money, and we've been in business with them for 3 years. That's how hard it is.
So what I've heard about the banks now is if you're willing to become an enormous, large regional brewery, they'll give you every bit of money that you want. But if you just want to go like, we're expanding, we need a couple 60 tanks, we need to do, they're like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if you want to open a $10 million production facility, that's what they're interested
Go from
in.
like 0 barrels to 60,000 barrels in 1 year.
And it sounds so counterintuitive, right? Because of the risk.
It's crazy.
But that's what banks are looking for right now.
So-
is they want you to go big.
Why wouldn't almost every brewer just do that then?
I don't think every brewer's into it, for one, because of the amount of work that it takes. But I think maybe even more than that, I don't know that every brewer's qualified to do it. The amount of business acumen it takes to go from, I don't know what, 30,000 barrels or 20,000 barrels to 100,000 barrels or 200,000 or 5. That's crazy. It's a crazy difference. The amount of sales. Like, in other words, I think basically you hire people to give up the reins.
Yeah.
So you end up hiring a CEO and people that like know how to do all that stuff, which means you then take a back seat and let your business just go without you. And I don't think that's what everybody wants to do. And that's also, by the way, I think I'm exaggerating a little bit that the bank would just do that with any brewery. You have to have some brand recognition and things like that. But there are breweries out there that have the brand recognition and still wouldn't take the $10 million growth.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for almost 10 years now, and I would not know how to run a 60,000 barrel a year brewery.
Yeah.
It's
a whole
crazy.
other thing.
Yeah, that's a whole other monster.
How many did you make in 2014?
1,400.
And you're on pace for?
With the two new tanks that we got in, when we get them up and running, it will double our capacity overnight. So we'll be looking around 3,000 and over.
Nice.
About 3,200 or something.
You think you can pin a number? Like, at what point do you feel like you would start being in over your head?
At this point, I don't know. Yeah.
But
10,000 barrels, we'd be over our head right now.
A doubling like that, though, it's almost the same in terms of legit. Like you brew the same. Now you have more tanks, and you're
right.
Do you see what I mean? Like the infrastructure.
The scheduling gets crazier. You got to get new employees.
Yeah.
Once you get past a certain amount of employees, then you have a whole nother headache with the government.
Right.
Yeah, we're not ready there. I mean, we did double our. From first year to second year, we doubled our production, and we'll do it again probably this year.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
You feel like that's manageable?
That's manageable, but I mean, at a certain point, if we go from 3,000 to 6,000, and then 6 to 12, that might be a little too fast. I don't know.
People ask me all the time.
We'll deal with it, I guess, when we get to that point. But
yeah,
I don't know.
People ask me, and I don't know why they ask me. And I can only speculate on the answer, but they ask all the time why Russian River doesn't just do, because Russian River is this example that has the brand recognition.
I think that's a great business plan is Russian River.
I think so too.
Yeah,
and that's part of my answer always. But they're the ones who, if they went to a bank, the bank would go.
They would give him all the money.
You would like $200 million?
Yeah.
Here you go.
I think the banks are going to him, as far as I know.
And they're begging. But he is kind of this example I'm talking about, where he's not interested in running that kind of business.
Right.
He still has control over every drop of beer that he makes.
Right.
In fact, I think he only did the production facility to kind of find some middle ground. Plus, you can't tell me that he's not going to retire one day, a very wealthy, healthy, happy man with this model. So why go through all of that if it's not your deal?
Because he's the only person who has the example of the single location that can crank the numbers that place is cranking.
Well, that might be so, but there are plenty of other breweries that could retire healthy, happy, and wealthy.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not quite as wealthy as him, but absolutely. If you run a tight ship and you just sell every drop of beer that you make and you expand just enough.
And you don't owe anybody any money.
I mean, how much?
That's the biggest thing. That's
Yes,
going to be,
which is part of their model,
payroll,
too.
is going to be your biggest cost is paying off loans.
So they might not have $1 billion like some of these other regional ones will eventually have. I think we'll see. But by the time I'm retiring, we're going to see some like craft beer billionaires more than your Jim Cook.
Yep.
Well, Ken Grossman's there now.
Ken Grossman. So it's your Stones of the world. Some of this New Belgium, of course.
Lagunitas.
But Lagunitas will get there, absolutely. But I do think that it's just a strong brand like a Vinny model. You're going to just see some very wealthy, comfortable people. And if you're comfortable with that, I think that's why you say no to expansion.
Hell yeah.
He would have to do what I just said, where he would have to hire CEOs and give up a bunch of bullshit.
Right. You got to get guys that know how to run a behemoth corporation like that.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it just gets out of hand.
I think that Ballast made that decision. I think Ballast decided, and again, I'm speculating, I'm just looking from the outside in, but I think that Ballast decided, hey, we could go for this. How about we hire some people who know how to do it, and we're going to blow up. And now they have 6 locations, right?
Yeah, just to give you an example of since I was there, when I was first hired on, we were making 8,000 barrels a year. After 6 years of brewing there, we were making 50,000 barrels a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then since the 3 years that I've left, 3 years.
Yeah.
I think I can't give exact numbers, but I think they're up to like 300,000 barrels a year.
Holy
or something
shit!
like
Are they
that.
brewing that much beer?
They're brewing
Holy
that
shit.
much beer. It's
So
absolutely amazing.
What you're saying is you were holding them back.
I was completely holding them back. Well, I was stealing hops and grain for my own brew recipes. So,
Right.
yeah.
What beer is in our glass? What's this first one that we're drinking here?
This is New Hell IPL. It's an India Pale Lager.
Okay.
It's a different take on an IPL. Most brewers brew a IPA and then ferment it with lager yeast. We developed a lager and then hopped it like an IPA.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it's a Helles base, but it's hopped like a IPA with not the bitterness of an IPA.
Nice.
But it is a lagered beer.
It is a lagered beer, and it's brewed with almost 100% Nelson hops.
What are Nelson? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are all your labels like hot dead chicks?
I wish. No, there's only like 3. One's not even out yet, but
that one's the best.
Yeah.
Who does your artwork?
His name is CJ Greb. He's on the East Coast. We found him. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with artists before?
Yes, Moscow.
I'm
every day of our life.
Yeah, they're very finicky. They don't work very fast. They work on their own schedule. It's kind of like island time in Hawaii, you know.
Right.
So after a few artists that we went through, nothing was getting done. And so I went onto this place. It's called iFreelance.com or whatever. It's like eBay for artists. Typed up my description of what I was looking for. Bunch of people bid on it. This guy, CJ, he not only bid on it, but gave me a rough sketch of what I described. He said, if you want me to take it further for free, I will. I said, yeah, go for it. Next day, he comes up with an updated version, and I'm like, dude, you got the fucking job.
Done.
Yeah, so, and
Nice.
he's been with us ever since, and I think he's done 16 or 17 different images for us.
You outsourced that shit. I'm proud of you.
Dude, his stuff is way better than anything than that I could draw. I mean,
To be fair,
I can draw stick figures.
How would you describe this? What were the directions he got? Because it's a chick in a bustier holding a skull.
Yeah,
and she has wings. How do you describe that to someone?
Just like you did.
I guess so.
On Newhall, I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
She's a succubus, right?
Yeah, she's a succubus, yeah. And I don't know. We figured that we had some, pretty chicks on there for the XPA, and it was time to bring back another one.
Okay.
The funny thing is all the girls in our pictures, they're all actually human. They don't have skulls and stuff.
Yeah.
All the dudes in it are either
dead.
beheaded or dead or I don't know. We're looking out for you, ladies.
Sexist war.
I love how much you can learn about a business owner by their logos.
I'm a self-hating male and just love chicks too much.
John's head. Is
And there are others
corner.
too, right? Like with their awful logos, and you're like, I know a lot about you right now. You have very poor judgment.
Yeah. But
this
never
one's
enough
one of the
skulls.
more tame ones. We have some pretty brutal labels, actually.
Okay.
I'm kind of surprised TTB has let us get away with some of the stuff.
What do you want to do next? We'll see another horrible label.
We have, another very pretty lady.
Okay.
She's got her rifle on her back, and
hops?
On the butt of the rifle is the stringed up, really disgusting flesh head that is it's not even
That
out
one's
yet.
not here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not there. It's just coming up.
It's actually a pretty badass label. I can bring it up on my phone.
That sounds very appetizing. I like how you don't care about that.
Hey, I want to drink this beer. Yeah.
Which beer that is here would you like to do next?
You guys like stronger beers or?
It's up to you. How do you want this interview to go?
Open single barrel last rights.
Single barrel last rights? Yeah, it's orange wax over there.
All right, here's what I think we're going to do. While we're opening that, we're going to take a break. But I just wanted to talk about the beer in our glass real quick. Sure. I really like it. I'm glad that you mentioned it's kind of a Helles base, because I was trying to put my finger on what it might be.
Yeah.
But it's got a great dry...
super dry, super light. It's really, really light.
It is light.
It's more alcoholic than a Helles. It's 6%.
Okay.
So it does have more in that regard.
But it's got a lot of hops. I mean,
It's got
There's
a lot
of flavor hops, and they taste. It tastes like, I hate to use the cliche dank. It's fucking dank.
It's pretty dank,
but it's not even just resiny. It's also vegetal, like the leaf a little bit, like smelling a bud versus like the resin. I don't know. I get a very much more. I don't know why the word organic is coming to mind, but like an organic pot smell. Yeah, and especially in the flavor too, like in my mouth.
I think that makes sense.
All
of my mouth. Is it a lot of dry hop or just a lot of late addition hop?
A lot of dry hop. Yeah, like the actual boil recipes, there's very little hops in there.
Okay.
It's mostly dry hop.
How many IBUs, do you know?
It's
25.
It's only like 25, yeah.
But then there's that perceived IBU that tastes
right. You taste all the hops and you think, oh, that's high IBU. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean
How many pounds per barrel are you dry hopping?
I've never done that math.
A shit ton.
A shit. It really depends. But the 5150, which is a pretty hoppy beer for a single IPA, it's only like 3. No, it's like 3 when you add in the boil hops.
Oh yeah.
It's 1.5 dry hops, but it's. I mean, we get pretty good hop utilization.
You do?
Brewery, yeah.
All pellet?
All pellet.
Never,
except for any specialty stuff. We do some wet hop stuff during the picking season.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll pour some more beer. We'll talk hops when we get back. 888-401-BEER if you want to ask questions yourself. We're hanging out with Ironfire Brewing Company out of Temecula, California. And their beer's on tap if you're local, so come on in. Plus, we got some beer here to drink and talk about. Session. We'll be right back.
Listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
I've had it! I am never putting hops in my beer again!
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous! Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Segmented, demented, fermented.
It's the session.
Yes. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, we're going to the Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival once again this year. Enjoy a day of beer tasting, delicious food, and free music at the 6th Annual Blues and Brews Fest, Friday, July 17th and Saturday, July 18th at Pleasant Hill Park. Bands include the Chris Kane Band, Frankie G and the Conviction, Spin Out, Karumpus Room, the Used Blues Band, all sorts of stuff, plus a ton of breweries. And we're going to be hanging out there selling our merch. And I think Beave's going to be there, right? Beaver, are you rocking the booth for us that day?
I'm fairly certain I will be.
That's great. So you can go check out Beeve, if you know what I'm saying.
Like a library or something?
Yeah, you can check her out.
Oh, great.
And never return her.
Plus, this year they're doing a Friday night pre-party concert. So on July 19th, it's going to have music from the Big Jungle, food, beer, and wine from 6 to 9 on the Friday night. So it's a 2-day deal now. Go check us all out at the Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival. Google it. Get your tickets.
Thank God that blues is what rhymes with brews, like a good genre of music. Can you imagine if like top 40 or you know, techno rhymed with beer somehow?
Or like brews and Zydeco. You know,
I don't even know what that means.
Never. It's awful music. That's what it is.
Brews and emo.
Brews and emo. Yeah.
Brews and music.
That'd be great.
I would go to a brews and
I
emo
know you
fest
would.
just to make fun of people. Well, for one, I would like the music.
You would enjoy it.
Because
Don't
I'm
lie.
somewhat emo, but also to look at all the emo crying kids. I would enjoy that quite a bit. Oh God, this porter's so good.
The cutter room.
Yeah.
And you would just
Go
stand
over to
there
the-
the whole
go over
time,
to the
just
cutter
flipping
tent.
your hair with your head.
They don't have a VIP hour. They have cutter hour.
You can actually, I mean, you'd have like Bali Shag or some like roll your own cigarettes sponsoring the whole thing. You should go roll your own cigarette tent.
Yes.
And then classes on how to dye your hair. It's a whole thing. We could do it.
Now, Alec Clifton is here from Ironfire Brewing Company as well, hanging out this year, a brewer there. How did you get involved with this racket?
I was actually working at a winery in Temecula before I met John and Greg, and I was working there for almost a year.
Okay.
And pretty much right when they opened up, I went in and pretty much just offered anything I could do, cleaning kegs, sweeping floors, whatever I could do to just get my foot in the door.
You offered free labor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he did what your staff did. Show up and never leave.
It's amazing how that works.
He would not leave, and he would not take no for an answer.
Yeah, I think John was annoyed with me.
I was working the
after about a
bar,
week.
and this big, tall dude comes in. I want to work for you guys. It's like, well, we're not hiring. We can't pay anything. I want to work for you guys.
He's like, look, I can reach the light bulbs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right?
I've changed a few bathroom light bulbs.
And then you said, well, all right, fine, stick around.
Yeah, after a while, I said, you know what? All right, just come in tomorrow. We'll find something for you to do. And he worked with us for, 2 months?
It was a little longer than that.
3 years.
It was 3 or 4 months, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
Felt like 5 years.
Well, it was a long time, and at a certain point, Greg and I said, we got to pay this guy. This is bullshit.
Who is this guy? He's obviously not going away.
Yeah.
Plus, he's working hard, obviously.
Dude, he's working his ass off, because, I mean, we're producing a lot of beer for just a couple of guys, and he's been an integral part of Ironfire so far.
Did you know a lot about wine before? Was that your shtick?
I went out of high school. I went to school to study enology and viticulture.
Okay.
And found out it really sucked, actually, chemistry and everything like that. I liked it, but there was so much work that involved it. I transferred over to business.
Okay.
And went the business route. And so for 2 years, I did enology and viticulture, and then I switched over to business marketing.
That sounds like a pretty rounded education, actually.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So I got a free education out of it. I played college baseball. So,
cool.
What'd you play? What position?
Pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Were you good?
I was all right.
What's your fastball top out at?
92.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
With command.
Was that your pitch, or did you have another?
I had slider and fastball and split too.
Okay.
I love sliders. They're tasty.
Yeah.
So I went to school for. I went to school for free.
So you got a ride.
Yeah.
And then what happened with the baseball thing?
I got actually Tommy John surgery.
Oh, motherfucker!
Yeah. So
did you try to come back after it?
I did. I came back for about a year and a half. I went and played in New York for about 4 months.
Okay.
And then left pretty much and came back to California.
Yeah.
Needed to find a job, start paying bills.
Sure.
And got the job at the winery.
Okay.
What's a Tommy John surgery? Because I hear Tommy John's, I think of the underwear.
That's different.
See, I think of fashion. You guys think of sports. I'm much more progressive.
I don't even think people would have thought that's what you think of, even though they wouldn't have thought you thought of sports.
Well, I'm, semi-metro, maybe.
It's a gnarly surgery that happens all too often.
It's like elbow tendons, isn't it?
Yeah, it's UCL, ulnar collateral ligament.
Yeah, they replaced ligaments in your arm.
Yeah,
but it's because the thing that you have to do with your arm to make a pitch go like that is a
Right.
fucked up thing to do,
Yeah, and
right?
you do it like 100 times a
like
game.
that's what happens?
Exactly, yeah. No,
Wow.
it's like you pronate, which is like kind of moving your arm in a way that you probably shouldn't move your arm.
And for some people that affects. And
exactly. And it's it could have been my motion, whatever, but...
And I see you're an Angels fan now.
I am an Angels fan.
Have you always been, or?
Yeah, I've been an Angels fan for forever. But
Remember when they were the California Angels?
I do.
Do you go back that far?
Yes.
I was living in SoCal then.
Angels
to the Disney,
of Anaheim,
to the Disney
California of the West Coast.
Yeah, there's been a few iterations. When I was a kid, they were the California Angels.
Yep.
And their color was blue. But I think the Dodgers didn't like that. And now
they had the angel wings, and then they changed it up. Yeah.
How often do you watch Angels in the outfield?
About once a week.
Once a week? Good for you.
You guys going to watch it in the hotel tonight?
Loop at the brewery whenever the tasting room's open.
Does your arm ever bug you now at the brewery, like stirring a mash or something?
No, never. No. It's to be honest, it's like my elbow's like cement now.
Really?
From what it was. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever pitch just for fun?
Yeah,
we play wiffle ball every November. Urge Gastropub's wiffle ball tournament.
Throw a wiffle ball slider.
That's cool.
You were a starter, right?
Goddamn right.
Yeah. I can smell a starter.
What do I look like?
Yeah.
Now, did your wine background, you think, help on the beer side?
It did, actually. It was kind of a funny story. When I was working at Robert Renzoni Vineyards in Temecula. And my brother's actually one of the cellar guys there.
Okay.
One of the main guys. And when I was talking to them about Ironfire, his boss, I call him Gons, and his name's Gonzalo. And he would have me hook up winery lines with tri-clamps before I even went into Ironfire. Because he pretty much told me, if you can't hook up a tri-clamp when you go in and say, you've had some experience at a winery and everything else,
yeah,
you're not. They're not even going to look at you.
It's a good point.
So, because he was a Napa winemaker for 30 years.
Okay,
and he went smaller side in Temecula, and so I would sit there for an hour hooking up lines for them, when they're cleaning tanks. I mean, you name it.
Yeah,
so that's what I would do.
It's funny because the tri-clamp seems like such a simple device, right? And I think that's part of why it's used in it, because it should be a simple device. But there's something about lining up that there's two damn plates perfectly, and you're doing it, then you've got only one hand left for the clamp itself.
For me, the worst part is the clamp, or the arm will come off. You undo the butterfly nut or whatever, and you can slip the arm off, but you can't put it back on at that same nut size. You have to undo it some more. It never
Right.
lines up.
Well, so we use them in homebrew. Some of us use them in homebrewing now too, because guys like our sponsor More Beer, they build these beautiful conicals and stuff, and they're all tri-clamped. But that's different than a giant hose that weighs 50 pounds.
It's usually hot and full of chemicals.
Yeah, it's still totally. Yes, the device
so you
is
have
the
gloves
same.
on, you got boots on. Yeah, it's
different.
It makes it a lot more dramatic.
Yeah.
'Cause you're about to get sprayed with hot caustic unless you get the clamp on.
Now, what about tasting wise though? Because I feel like it's a difficult palate to have to be able to pick out flavors in wine.
Right.
Mostly, actually, because wine can be so similar. So I feel like your palate has to be discerning to pick out some of the different nuances, whereas in beer, they can be so different. Do you feel like that's helped you as a brewer?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
We actually did tastings once a week at the winery with certain wines that we had coming out, or actually grapes that we crushed for that crush season.
Okay.
So we would taste different, nuances with everything else, and then I after about 6 months, I started bringing in beer to the tasting, just because I love wine, but I'm much more passionate and love beer even more.
Yeah.
So it would kind of be like a shock to everybody's palate, so they could kind of go back to the wine and figure out kind of tasting notes on that.
Sure.
So it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot from the guys there at the winery, especially with how I am now. Like I can detect Brett pretty heavily.
Oh yeah,
especially in wine. That's a huge thing in wine.
I'm surprised they even let you in the winery anymore.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right on your skin or something.
No, they usually keep me outside.
We'll bring it out.
That's for
you wait
different
here,
reasons.
Alec.
Yeah, that's something different altogether.
Yeah.
But, it taught me a lot. Just tasting subtle differences in one vineyard to another or one varietal to another, really.
Sure. Yeah, that's difficult stuff.
Yeah.
And so now, all right, so now you're the brewmaster, but Alec is he's kind of your right-hand brewer? Is that what's happening here? Or you have several brewers?
Pretty much. There's me, I'm head brewer, then there's Greg, he's lead brewer, and then Alec is a brewer.
Okay.
We never made him go through the whole assistant brewer thing.
You did, yeah.
It just sucks. Having that on your business card, it's no fun.
That was the unpaid part.
Yeah,
He was an assistant
exactly.
when he wasn't.
Yeah, there you go.
He was assistant everything.
Yep.
Had you been like a late inning guy, they would have made you go through that. But as a starter,
you get some special stuff.
Exactly.
All right, this beer in my glass right now is very impressive. What is this?
This is Last Rites Triple Chocolate Stout, and it's a single barrel version. So it's the beer that was only in one barrel.
Okay.
It is 16% alcohol.
Wow.
It's got 3 chocolate malts from 3 different continents and 3 different additions of cocoa nibs throughout the brew.
Interesting.
And then after that, we barrel age it for over a year.
So talk to me about the 3 different places throughout the brew.
So we put cocoa nibs in the mash tun, in the boil, and in the fermenter, like a dry hop.
In primary?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
well, actually
after it's sort of,
yeah.
But in the same fermenter.
Same vessel, yeah.
Interesting.
This is an outstanding beer.
Yeah, Beardy, what do you think of this one?
I really like it. I'm not a huge fan usually of 16% alcohol beers,
It's a big beer.
You wouldn't know it.
The alcohol in this, it's not fusely, it's not hot, but it acts as a drying agent to help just dry out the huge amount of cocoa nibs and
Kind
all
of
the oak
a
vanilla.
thinning agent.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
and
it's
it makes
thinner.
it just dry finish at the end really nicely. So you're ready for another sip versus being like,
we
I need to take
ferment
a
our
while.
beers out really low gravities too. So
This one finished pretty low.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I personally don't like sweet beer. It's just my personal preference. So we try to ferment out as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it has a little bit of heat, but the heat almost tastes like it's coming from the chocolate, not from alcohol. It's like a spicy heat that just tastes like it's coming from chocolate.
Yeah, this is a pleasant high alcohol beer. It's not fusely nail polish.
Yeah,
just offensive.
I'm really glad more people don't make beer like this. I try to keep an even keel, but this would fuck it up. Is this available to everybody, this particular
The
beer?
one we're drinking, no. This one is for our barrel club. It's called the Wetwood 100. There's only 100 members. And it's small bottles from single barrels that we do.
Nice.
There's the bottle.
What do you mean? What do you mean
Yeah.
by single barrels?
So it's only the beer in one actual bourbon barrel. It's
blending, right?
There's no blending whatsoever.
I see. So every bottle of this beer came from one barrel.
One barrel.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
and in that particular bottle, there's only, I think, 320 bottles ever in existence. So it's not much.
Do you know how long it was in the oak barrel?
This was in for a year. We do have a more mass produced version where we blended all the barrels together. That one was in for a little over a year, 14 months or something like that.
And what kind of barrel was it?
Are we allowed to say other companies?
Sure.
Buffalo Trace barrels.
Oh my God!
Damn it!
Can't believe
now
you
I have
did
to
that.
edit that out.
No, we're kidding.
Now, do you set out to make a single barrel like with the intention of not blending?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens if you? No, it wasn't the case with
If it
this beer,
sucks,
but yeah,
dump it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we will not. I'm kind of our harshest critic. If I don't like it, it goes down the drain. It will not get to people's mouths.
But even if you tasted it and thought this isn't where I want it to be, but I could blend this into a good beer, it's just not even an option for you.
We'll try blending it, but I mean it's
usually bad is bad.
Yeah, usually bad's bad.
So you don't
we'll go, like when we do. Let's say we did the mass produced one. We have 14 other barrels that we put together into the bright beer tank. We'll go through all of them, taste all of them. If one doesn't taste right, it doesn't go in because it's going to ruin everything.
Right.
So you're not picking one of the barrels of the mass-produced batch and making that your single barrel release. It's the single barrel release from the beginning.
No. Actually, we went through all the barrels and picked the best one.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's about I think it was 14 barrels total of Last Rites.
Yeah.
And we picked this barrel was the one that we thought tasted just awesome.
And that goes
And
to
if we
club
did do
members only.
Right. And if we did a side by side, they do taste different. than the blended one.
Like Last Rites in the 22-ounce bottles is completely different than this one.
But I bet it's still awesome. I mean, it can't be that far
Still
off.
fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. This is great. What is your relationship with like metal and Iron Maiden, John?
Well, I'm a kid of the 90s, so I like, 90s rock when, rock stars were rock stars and they weren't little bitches whining about shit.
Was Iron Maiden
So are
90s?
we? No, they were 80s.
No, that's
so are we
before-
talking like
that's
Danzig
before.
here?
Oh, I love Danzig.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to put my
Danzig's a
finger.
whiny little bitch. So let's not confuse the two.
Hey, he has some good songs.
He does, but he is a whiny little bitch.
I guess I'm just knocked out.
I did see that.
Dude, that was fun.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Recently?
No, in the 90s,
Oh.
80s, I think, because he's
Okay.
big and tough, and he was talking shit, and some dude goes, boom!
And knocked him out.
Popped him out.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the artwork, which I like, but I'm trying to figure out your personality, like where you're coming from.
Right.
Metal, dude.
So I like 90s, heavy metal and rock or whatever.
Okay.
I like zombie movies. I like old westerns. All
Okay.
that stuff. So it kind of all blends together.
Got it. I dig the
He's
art.
an
man.
angry brewer.
Is your business-
He is an angry brewer.
Is your
right?
business partner into smooth jazz and fine art?
Yeah, well, actually, he's like what I should look like. He has, sleeve tats, and he has a tattoo of a demon on the back of his head.
Got it.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yet he's soft and wants to name the beer Love Sauce instead of Last Rites.
Love sauce?
Yeah, Love
Love
Sauce.
Sauce.
That's what came to my head, Bevo.
You know what lost.
Yeah, a woman appealing name.
Do you want to show that artwork in the camera?
Yeah. It kind of looks like Halloween, right? Like,
And
it's,
that's actually
orange and
the
black.
half version of it. On the full 22-ounce bottle, the full logo is on there.
Yeah, you actually
Okay.
get to see the guy about to get his head chopped off.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you that I've never asked one of our brewers.
Sure.
What's
How
with
big is your
What's with the wax?
Giant.
Like, I know that wax aesthetically looks cool. Like,
All right.
is there a purpose?
So our wax,
$2 more a bottle.
That's what I'm...
exactly. Yeah, no. Our wax, it's only on the Wetwood 100 wax, and it serves a purpose. It makes the presentation is
Okay.
nicer. And then the other one is this wax is so tough, it's drunk proof.
So, it is
when
really,
you're-
it's like
when
a
you're
hard
hammered
wax.
and you go home and you're like, let's open that bottle. It stops you because you cannot get into it very easily.
This is a
Not
great
normal.
answer.
It's not
That's a
like
good
Crayola
answer.
wax.
Yeah.
You know,
Every
you have
alcohol-
to dig in there.
Because
Every
I'm that
alcohol
guy.
I have at home, I need to dip in. Like every bottle of wine that I want to keep, I need to dip into that because I want something to drink.
I'm that guy. I won't do it by myself, but if people come back to the house or whatever afterward and I don't have much beer, I'm like, well, let's grab this one, which is my most expensive, rarest, whatever. Oh, this is a good...
See, yeah, it takes you at least 5 minutes to get into that
cut
bottle.
through it.
Yeah,
And
so a drunk person would be like, screw it, I got some Coors Light or something.
Or they'd end up in the emergency room with some severed tendons.
Yeah,
That's happened.
that would suck.
Sure it has.
by the way, aesthetics is a good enough answer, too. I just genuinely wanted to know, because I think other brewers have said, like, oh, well, it helps with this and that, and I just think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit.
But
yeah.
aesthetics is
I mean,
good
the
enough.
cap should seal in everything. If it doesn't, you got something wrong with your bottle and your caps.
Yeah.
The wax isn't going to stop anything.
Yeah.
And the wax can actually hurt the caps, too. If there's moisture in the cap, it'll actually cause the cap to rust.
Yep.
I see.
And so it could be worse.
Okay. Tasty, what do you think of this beer? I'm loving it.
Well, I'm not a big, ABV drinker, but yeah, it's easy to drink for sure.
It's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Well, let's
it warms
get
up, it gets better and better.
It does.
A
Let's
lot
get
of the
some more in our
chocolate
glass.
comes out
too.
as it gets warm.
Yep. What's our next one here?
I opened just on my own behest the Imperial Porter brewed with avocado honey.
Oh, you mentioned this before the show when I was asking you.
Right, it's on tap right now.
Is avocado honey a local thing in Temecula?
It is a local thing. For a long time, my hometown of Fallbrook was known as the avocado capital of the world.
Okay.
It's not anymore. A lot of the grows have gone down and houses are put up. But there's still a lot of avocado groves out there. And this is brewed with honey that was harvested off, the bees went to the avocado flowers, and that's what the honey is produced from.
Okay. It's cool that bees are still alive.
It doesn't taste like avocados. No, they're getting scarcer and scarcer.
They're dying everywhere.
Yeah.
There was one in my house the other day. I felt bad, like, I tried to shoo it out the door, and then it flew at my face, and then I killed it, and I felt so guilty all night.
Like, God damn it. You just ruined the world.
Horrible.
Again. All right. Well, see, these are all cool. I like these logos. Every one of them looks like a good tattoo. And do you have any tattoos, John?
I do. Well,
Tramp stamp. Show it.
I have some really shitty tattoos that I did when I was like 13 years old with a pen.
You're kidding me.
You were that guy.
Yeah. I was that guy.
I was
a fucking mess.
What are they? Are they like words?
Is it a picture of you on your back?
The worst, like, sun. I was trying to make this like evil looking sun on my.
On
so
what?
embarrassing.
You gotta show it.
Come on, now we gotta see
On my
it.
goddamn ankle because I'm.
wow.
What a girl.
Let's see it. Let's
Come on.
see it.
Get up on the camera, too.
All right, he's pulling his sock down.
Oh,
Hang on,
that's
I can't-
amazing.
How's it look?
It's good.
That's
ink,
an
right?
evil sun.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like a Teletubby with tentacles.
It's a fucking happy face, man.
I like it. Will you do one on me with a pen?
I know. It's so embarrassing. Thank you guys
So you
for
never
asking me that.
you never wear ankle socks, I guess.
No.
Yeah,
no.
long pants in
Wait.
Temecula all the time.
And
he
it's really
wears board
sad.
shorts and high white socks to the brewery every day.
And you were 14? Is that what you said?
13.
But you're kind of owning it because you could have like got it covered up. There's some place in your heart you're like, no, that's like my stupidity on my.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
gotta
gotta own it.
Yeah, it's my badge of dishonor, pretty much. You know.
Yeah.
What beer label is that going to go on?
Oh my god.
It's got badge of stupidity.
Badge of stupidity.
Yeah,
It's a new barrel
Hey,
project.
you know what? There's a great name for a beer right there. Badge of stupidity.
Yeah.
And they would go on that.
You can have
It'd
that.
be a picture of this hairy ass ankle with a freaking stupid tattoo on it.
Yeah.
Did it help you like make out with a girl in your class or something? Because 13-year-old chicks might like that, No, it didn't. I'm trying to help you out here, man.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe no, it didn't.
It didn't.
No.
So there's no upside.
There is absolutely no upside to that stupid thing.
The label could have a skeleton
Ripping
holding
that
a piece
thing
of
off and, like,
flesh,
eating it or
like holding it
something?
as like ripped it off of you.
That's a good cover up.
Hell yeah.
All right, tell me about Vicious Disposition.
So it's an imperial porter, obviously brewed with the locally harvested avocado honey. It was made to be like a seasonal beer, but it was the first seasonal beer we had open when we opened up the tasting room, and people liked it so much that they kind of demanded that it be on all the time. So we just decided to brew it all the time. And it's cool too because we have a local product that we can use in the beer.
I feel like I would have to taste it side by side with the same beer without the avocado honey in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting style that you chose to showcase something like honey.
Yeah, the honey gets kind of covered up.
And I don't know. Maybe it's not covered up. Maybe I'm tasting it, but I can't. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, because when you do a lighter beer, you can really taste the honey.
Yeah. Why did you choose
I think
this one?
It smooths it out a lot.
Okay.
It makes it just go down. It makes a 9% beer drink like a 6% beer.
Got it.
It's no different than adding sugar. I think is that
Yeah.
none of the honey flavor carries through.
No, not at
you can
that.
use simple sugar and probably get the same beer.
What kind of hops did you use?
In this one, it varies of whatever we got left. Because there's not much in late editions. It's all
It's all about the malts.
Because I get kind of like an English earthy.
No,
kind of
we don't use any English.
Well,
hops.
but I'm wondering if it's coming from the honey. That's why I was asking if you're using English hops.
It's got the honey's got like an earthy taste to it. If you've ever tasted an avocado honey,
it's
it's
dark.
not that,
It's not light like regular honey. It's real dark.
So
and
that may be
earthy.
coming through.
Yeah. I would have guessed English hops, but it could be the honey.
Yep.
So that's an interesting point just for homebrewers. So a beer like this, it almost doesn't matter what hops you put in it. It's kind of what you're saying. You're using whatever's left over.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So it's malt. It's malt forward.
Yeah,
but
there's so much malt that it covers up any hop that's in there.
Even if they're old?
Well, no, I wouldn't put
So not old.
Yeah, because
Okay.
there might be some growing on old.
All right.
Yeah.
I just, when I hear you say stuff sitting around, I don't know what.
No, like let's say we have a box of hops open from like an IPA recipe that we did, and we'll just use it. Just maybe we're not doing an IPA for another 2 weeks. We want to get those hops used.
So you're literally just sort of using it for alpha acid and then not really caring about any of the flavor addition.
Yeah, there's like nothing at the end.
Yeah, there's hardly any flavor in that one.
Okay.
So you're just maintaining a certain IBU level and adjusting the variety based on that.
Exactly. And we're on this one, we're going for malt and honey smoothness more than any hop kind of quality to it whatsoever.
You guys make a lot of...
Even though it is actually got quite a high IBU. I think it's like 71.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 70, about 71 IBUs.
Yeah. Which is probably a good thing, because it then tastes balanced, I think, because you put 71 in there.
Yeah, it's that 9% alcohol, so I mean, you don't want something that's lower than that where it's cloyingly sweet.
Yeah. You guys make a lot of stouts, porters, imperial stouts. I mean, maybe I'm just getting a glimpse of what you do, but I know a couple of the beers we have on tap, and then some of the, the ones that you've shared with us. Is that kind of where you lean?
Actually, we're known for our IPAs mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're known for a lot of barrel aged stuff. We have a lot of bourbon barrel, wine barrel, stuff like that coming up.
And has that been since the beginning? You were in barrels?
I believe it was the second batch we ever brewed went straight into barrels.
Okay.
And it was Vicious Disposition. Slurring.
That's all right. We're about to do the same.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It was Vicious Disposition in Jack Daniel's barrels, and they're still in the barrels. They're almost 3 years old.
Almost 3 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you get the idea from? Was Ballast doing a lot of that? Why did you want to go to barrel?
We really didn't do much barrel aging in Ballast Point while I was there. We did do some, but not compared to what they do now. But I did see the benefit of it when I was there.
Okay,
and that's why I knew we wanted to be known as a really good barrel aged brewery, plus a really good IPA brewery.
Okay.
So now that beer's at the 3-year mark, are you just kind of letting it speak to you, and it's done when it's done?
Exactly.
Yep. It's not something we've even topped up. It's something that just we let go, and it's when it's ready. We know when it's going to be ready.
Are you surprised that it hasn't been ready yet?
Yeah. You know what? It's something about the Jack barrels with the Vicious. It's taken a lot longer because we do a red with the Jack barrels, and it's aged in like 3 months. So it's kind of strange. I don't know
what's not ready about it. Like, what flavors are you looking for and what flavors do you get now?
I can't pinpoint it.
Well, it would take a brewer to do that. So
yeah, right.
So Alex,
it tastes good to me.
Is that just all it is? Like, you're not going, what I want is more kind of toasty
No,
vanilla.
I want to taste it, and I'm like, yeah,
that's
this is
it.
good.
Okay, yeah,
All right. I'm not looking in for anything in particular or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just not there yet.
Yeah. When it speaks to you, when it speaks to you, is it in like a growling metal voice, like I'm ready. Yeah, like that's how. Then you're like, oh, it's ready. Turns out you're just crazy.
Drink me now.
Yeah. I have to ask about the brewery pet known as the Wrench.
Oh, the Wrench.
Who is the Wrench?
The Wrench is our plumber, and he's also the plumber for Ballast Point. And his name is Dwayne. He is a
man.
Interesting character. He's awesome.
Is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think I've met this dude.
You probably
Did he have a big wrench tattoo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I've met the Wrench.
Holy shit.
Around one of the Ballast Point places.
Yeah.
What's with the Wrench? He's an intense dude.
Oh, he's awesome, actually. Yeah, he's intense.
Has he saved your ass at the brewery? Like,
he has made our plumbing costs like almost nil.
Okay.
Yeah, he helps us out all the time with our plumbing needs. I can do a little sweating of copper and stuff like that, but any giant issue, he is there. You could call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he'll be there.
And he'll come fix shit.
It's like a will work for beer type of setup.
It's not even that. He's just a giver.
He's got the biggest heart in the world.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
He's a crazy bastard, though.
He's fucking nuts.
Did you guys put the brewery together yourselves?
Yes, we did. That's why we actually opened it with not much money, compared to a lot of our breweries at about the same size.
Yeah.
We just did a lot of the work ourselves, and then what we couldn't do, we had friends in the trades that would give us beer trades for money and beer trades type thing.
Like the Wrench.
Wrench.
Getting plumbing like that, welding and stuff like that done.
Huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do a lot, but whenever I do anything, it looks like shit. It holds and it's functional, but it doesn't look good. So when you want somebody to do it actually right, then we have a friend that can do it.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Well, good for you. That's how you got shit done.
So for homebrewers out there, we did get a 1,400 barrel a year brewery built for under $500,000.
That's pretty incredible. Plus tasting room right there.
Plus tasting room.
How much leaves the brewery as opposed to selling out of the tasting room?
90% leaves the brewery. 10%
Okay.
is sold in the tasting room.
So and then draft accounts, bottles, what?
Mostly draft.
It is.
Yeah.
Around the Temecula, San Diego sort of area?
Well, actually, from Santa Barbara down to San Diego, I just got the numbers from our distributors. We have sold into 2,700 accounts so far.
Nice.
Which is very surprising. I mean, we don't sell into them all the time.
Sure, but just
that's
looking
what we
back.
sold into. I mean, that was way bigger number than I ever thought.
Yeah. That's something to be
I was
proud of.
lying to people. I'm like, yeah, we have like 400 accounts, So it's kind of a cool surprise.
Yeah. Do we have bottles here to sell, too? Did you guys bring us bottles?
Yes.
Oh,
You guys
cool.
got
about 10
cases of everything.
10 everything that we had available, you guys got.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so you can buy it at the Hop Grenade. Do you distribute up here normally? Or is
No. The only place we've distributed up here is in Santa Rosa.
Okay.
Beercraft.
Beercraft in Santa Rosa. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, he comes down and actually buys beer from us, like from the brewery, and then brings it back up to his place. But that's as far north as it's gone.
Got it.
Right.
So what are you guys going to be doing for the whole reason we're doing the SoCal June here on the BN? Is
Yes.
For LA Beer Week, in honor of LA Beer Week, which is, I think it's smack dab in the middle, right? Started a couple days ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys going to be doing for it?
So we have a special keg going to Clay at 38 degrees. Do you guys know Clay at 38 degrees?
No.
Alhambra.
It's Alhambra. It's probably the premier beer bar in the LA area. I mean, it is fantastic.
Okay.
And he was our first account. He bought our first kegs. And I knew him from just some random night that I went up there on a Ballast Point event. And, we hit it off, and I was drunk, and I was an idiot, but he forgave
It
me.
happens.
Yeah.
Those two things go well together.
Here it happens once a week.
Sounds like my life.
Right? So we opened up and we had beer to sell. We had nobody to sell to. Called up Clay. He said, you know what? Bring me a bunch of samples of whatever you want to sell me and bring a couple kegs of your beer. I'll just buy them right there.
Nice.
Which is cool because he didn't even taste it and he bought our beer. So
Wow.
ever since then, we give him special beers whenever he wants it. He gets whatever he wants. And so what he's going to get is the only keg of our Wetwood 100 barrel beer that's ever going to make it out. And it's a blend. It's a Scotch ale, and it's a blend of Scotch ale aged in Elijah Craig barrels and brandy barrels.
Okay.
So it's pretty delicious.
Wow.
I've had it flat, but I haven't had it carbonated. Alec has had it carbonated.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's flat. I mean, when you taste it out of a barrel, it's warm, especially when you don't have temperature control and everything else. It's it's going to be good, but once you get it cold and you have it some carbonation to it, it's a whole nother level.
Love it.
I mean, it's a awesome beer.
I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't do what he did. Just buy beer without tasting it.
I know, it's a lot of trust.
We're a little snobby over here. Not snobby. We're just kind of particular. And so that is a lot of trust. He said, just bring it to me and I'm going to buy it.
Yep. Yeah. And ever since then, he's our guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets whatever he wants.
Cool, man.
And 38 degrees is a fantastic bar. I mean, it's really cool.
Okay.
I think the first time we did
Food
our
is
triple IPA, I think we kegged it that day and got it to him that afternoon.
Nice.
So, I mean, Clay's an awesome guy.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I hope you guys want to stay and hang out with us.
Of course.
We got more to do. I'm going to take a break now, and then we got more to do. And I think we're just going to keep mixing in beer to the rest of the show. We got some beer news to do. I got some feedback to do. I got a few things I got to get to.
We got a lot of beer.
All right, perfect. Before we go, I want to let you know about Modern Homebrew Recipes, the new book by our good friend Gordon Strong, and it's just a fantastic resource. The last great homebrew recipe book that came out was by our other great friend Jamal.
And Jumper.
Zanishev and John Palmer, Brewing Classic Styles. But now we've got modern homebrew recipes, and there's plenty of reasons to get this book. You can go over to Brewers Publications and check it out right now and buy it that way. Craft beer is about innovation, discovery, and interpretation, and homebrewing is about all that and more. As the beer scene evolves, so do the beer styles. So we know that modern homebrew recipes, written by Grandmaster Beer Judge and author Gordon Strong, will take you on a guided journey of brewing discovery that includes information about some of the latest BJCP styles. And, of course, they just revised the BJCP style guidelines, so you know that Gordon is on the pulse of these things. Plus, Gordon's just a nice dude. He knows what he's talking about. The Grandmaster Judge thing, I think he has like the most...
I think he is the guy.
He's the most accredited judge that there is in the BJCP.
Doesn't he write the test?
He wrote the goddamn test, I think. Yeah.
He should get it fucking right.
He's a patch for that. Go check it out over at Brewers Publications. Get modern homebrew recipes. It'll complement your classic brewing styles collection. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll finally brew something not inside Brewing Classic Styles.
No, you
won't.
think
I won't?
No, I know you won't.
I don't have a copy of the book yet because I haven't sent me one, but I wonder if I look at it, I will brew something different. I do doubt. I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
But
I think your brewing days are behind you.
I'm ready to brew all the time. I'm ready right now.
All the time. Let's brew right now.
Beardy, I'm ready. I might compete.
Hey, let's go do it.
If you're going back to competition, maybe I'll compete for the first time.
What club are you going to be in?
Doe's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doe's like, no, we don't want you, actually.
That would be amazing if you, let's pretend for a second that you could brew drinkable beer.
Let's pretend.
But if you actually won a medal under Doe's, that would actually be amazing.
That I stood up there again to accept the BN Club Award.
Yeah,
and what if you got booed?
You could accept it. Have Doe's. That'd be cool.
Oh, my God. All right, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we've got a lot more to do and more to do. There you go. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
If you don't know Yeastman, you're missing out. White Labs Yeast Manager, Yeastman, is available free to any brewer. Yeastman is your direct link to White Labs' yeast production facility. Yes, you can check yeast availability, and yes, you can place an order, but Yeastman is much more. View yeast quality control and analytical reports. See your big QC Day entries and reports. Get access to the entire White Labs catalog, specials on overruns of freshly made yeast, and customized options for your account. Yeastman is the only real-time online ordering in the business connected directly to factory production. Yeastman is always on and always live. It's the largest online marketplace for specialty brewers' yeast and related products. Visit yeastman.com today and tap directly into White Labs' production facility. Gonna brew? Yeastman to the rescue.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program. program. Certified beer server, certified Cicerone, and master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Adventures in Homebrewing have the knowledge and expertise to craft their own gear and original recipes. Some of the things homebrewing.org creates and manufactures in-house are the Brutus brew stands and propane burners, the Serial Killer adjustable 2-roller grain mill with 7-pound hopper, custom stainless steel false bottoms designed to fit kegels, coolers, and mini-sized brew pots. The brewers at Adventures in Homebrewing have designed a huge selection of original recipes for extract and all-grain brewing. Adventures in Homebrewing original recipes are tried and tested, proven to be of the best quality. And right now, Adventures in Homebrewing is shipping 24 of their best recipes for free. Visit homebrewing.org for the most current selection. Once you try one of Adventures in Homebrewing recipes, you'll keep coming back for more. And now, it's even easier with free shipping on these kits. Brewing Network listeners receive 10% off their homebrewing.org orders when they use coupon code IPA at checkout. See terms and conditions for full details.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
All right, hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us.
You're welcome.
I got to let you know about Beersmith.
You do.
I got to hang out with Brad at National Homebrewers Conference a little bit this week, and he's got a podcast going on. Of course, it's the Beersmith homebrewing software. You can go to beersmith.com right now and get your free 21-day trial. He does a great job in that thing. It's useful on PC and Mac and for everything you want to do with your brewing. It does more than you need it to do. I can almost guarantee you. But you don't have to take my word for it because you get a free 21-day trial. And Brad likes to party, I could tell.
Yeah? He's a party animal, huh?
He's kind of a party animal.
He didn't seem like a party animal, but he seemed like a ninja party animal.
He's like a ninja
he can
party
get down if he had to.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, you ever seen a ninja parade?
No.
That's how he parties. Like, you don't even know what's happening.
Oh, shit.
He's partying like a rock star, and you don't even know what's going on.
You just look over and he's sweating.
Yeah.
A ninja parade?
Yeah.
So there's crowds lined up on the sidewalk, and they're watching nothing?
Yeah, exactly. They never see it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a ninja parade.
It is a ninja parade.
It's an old Onion bit. It was like the best Onion bit I ever read. It was like a video one. They're talking about the ninja. They interviewed people. Oh, yeah, we just absolutely love it. And it's all these people just staring at nothing. Anyway, that's Brad Smith. He's a ninja parade.
Oh, great.
Go to beersmith.com right now and get your free 21-day trial. All right, so we got a few things left to do. We got the Ironfire Brewing Company boys still hanging out with us, John and Alec. We had baseball out on the TVs. I was worried that Alec was going to get all teary and like cry like a
Almost
little.
happened.
Yeah, but he was fine. He held it together.
That's right. He did very well.
I'm always projecting. I'm like, if I was you, I'd just speak. I would be so sad all the time. And he's like, no, I'm fucking fine, dude. Shut up.
Great.
Just hanging out, just having a beer. What are you drinking, Alec?
Mother Earth Pinup.
Is that one of yours? Or Mother Earth is the brewery?
Mother Earth. It's in
Yeah,
Vista.
sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, it might be a trademark issue there if it was.
And what did you just pour in our glass, John?
We just poured Judge, Jury, and Executioner Triple IPA.
A triple IPA.
11.2% alcohol.
Here's what I'm concerned about before I drink this, is that I had your standard IPA, which is on tap here at the Hop Grenade, and already it was a bit of a face melter.
Yeah, it's very aggressively hopped.
Melt your body.
What are the hops? What's the main hop in the 5150 that I had on tap?
Main hop, but you're probably... It's a blend of 8 different hops.
Oh, okay.
But in the dry hop, what you're getting is Simcoe and 05256.
Got it. Wouldn't have picked out the 05256 because I have no idea what that is. Definitely,
really, I totally get that.
Definitely picked out the Simcoe.
It smells more like
I believe they just named it Eureka hops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I will always call it 05256.
Faction uses that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. All right, Tasty, get with me on this one. Now we got a triple IPA in our glass here.
That's nice and dry for a triple, huh?
Very dry. And this is actually sweeter than it usually is, this particular batch.
Yeah. I can't find the sweetness in his beer.
Usually it's not sweet, but usually it's much more dry. It's kind of like champagne. We can ferment this beer out really far down.
I think our second batch finished at about
10:05.
10:04, 10:05, right
You're
around there.
kidding me.
Yeah.
In a triple.
How much?
So what does it start at?
It started at like 1090 something.
Right around
the first batch we did.
That sounds illegal. That sounds like it shouldn't be legal.
I know, right? Like, we were totally surprised when it got down that far. It was actually pretty badass, we thought.
So it's really the alcohols are really well hidden. What's your fermentation profile like?
Like temperatures and all that?
Yeah, I could tend to
it's California ale yeast.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's fermented at about 72 degrees for a couple days. And then I turn off the glycol and let it get hot.
Go warmer then.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
Yep. And it dries it out really, really well.
Yeah, 72 is pretty hot. That must really ferment like crazy.
We can get fermentation done within 2 to 3 days.
Yeah,
on a
at that
normal
time
beer.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow. Oh yeah.
We can get it within 2 hours of us brewing.
Yep.
It's starting.
Now,
going.
The brewers I know would say they would expect a lot of esters in this beer.
Right.
I'm not getting that at all.
No. We found that this is actually a bump over from my ballast days. Is that you can ferment at 72 degrees pretty safely. Actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, is that because you pitched like the right amount of? How do you? I mean,
we pitch.
How do you get around it? Why aren't there esters?
Too? We over pitch on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. And because we got to get the beer out real fast because we don't have that many tanks, and we just got to get it going as fast as possible. That's safe as possible, you know.
Do you buy that over pitch, or do you grow it up yourself? Kind of just use it from the previous.
What we do is we buy a pitch from White Labs.
Yeah.
Let's say we're brewing into a 30-barrel tank. We'll buy a 15-barrel pitch. We'll brew once, throw in the 15-barrel
smaller
pitch.
beer, or
I'm sorry, our brew house is 15 barrels.
But you'll brew a
right.
single 15.
So one day we'll brew the 15 barrels, let it start fermenting, and then the next day we'll brew on top of that. And you know the yeast is really healthy.
And then you'll
at
harvest
that
from
point.
that. That'll be.
And
the
then
start.
we'll harvest out of the bottom for that.
Gotcha.
After that,
Cool.
and we'll limit it to about 6 to 7 generations of repitching. And we get pretty good attenuation off our yeast.
Are your fermenters tall and narrow, or are you?
They are pretty tall and narrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you do a cone to cone?
You might get some restraint of.
Yep, cone to cone harvesting. Yep, through a yeast brink.
So you'll measure it in the brink? Is that?
Yeah. We'll measure gallons basically in the brink or pounds, and we'll just pitch right over to the next batch.
Nice.
We'll
be able to see how it looks too.
Right.
Kind of in a sight glass and make sure it's kind of milky white and
okay.
Well, we set up our schedule to once we brew with yeast, we'll brew again within 6 days, so that yeast is very, very healthy and active. We don't let it sit for very long.
Got it. It's a well fermented beer. That's
Thank
for
you.
sure, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking like the taller fermenters would restrain. You could ferment warmer at a more pressure on the ferment.
Will you reuse the yeast after this beer, or is this kind of the last generation being such a big beer?
A big beer like this, I don't like to reuse it because it is spent after this, because this fermentation takes a long time, actually. A lot longer than 5150 or even our double IPAs.
Yeah.
So if I can avoid it, we won't use it again.
Okay.
And usually we won't. There might be a time we might use it, but it would be for a darker beer that doesn't need to ferment out quite as low.
Gotcha.
So I even like the triple better than the single.
All right.
And I'm not, I do like IPAs, but I'm not an
IPA
nut guy. Well, I'm just not a nutcase about it. I like IPAs.
I'm
like,
you have a reasonable attitude towards IPA.
Just,
it makes me feel good and warm inside.
But I like the triple's better than the single. Even.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
What's the difference between your double and your triple? Like
the double is 9.5% alcohol.
Okay,
and the triple is 11.2.
I see.
So it's a couple more alcohol.
Sure,
and it's more aggressive hops.
Okay.
In them, like we have two doubles. The double within is our most popular double, and it's got fruity hops like Citra and some dank hops like Simcoe. They work very well together.
Yeah.
The Judge, Jury, and Executioner, we use Mandarina, we use 07270, and some other, it's also blend. We do blends of everything.
Okay.
And they're all high alpha acid hops. Very, very citrusy, very, very orangey.
So 07270
This particular batch has
Okay.
Waimea hops in it as well.
Like why? Like they're from Hawaii?
No, that's a New Zealand hop as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm a hop whore. Like a hop seller will come to me, and I'll buy it. And so I've accumulated all these weird hops nobody's even heard about yet.
We have boxes and boxes in the cold room.
Boxes of them.
These are Kamehameha hops.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hops.
They're Mexican, huh?
I love Hawaii. Bitch, from Virginia.
I love Puerto Rican hops. Sounds great.
It's kind of cool too. The double IPA and triple IPAs. I know we didn't even do like a pilot batch or anything like that for them.
Went for it.
Just went for it on 15 barrels.
Yeah. Wow.
And did it, and it came out awesome. And it's pretty cool to do that. Like, you got 500 gallons or something going, and it's in a tank, and you're like, I hope this works out, and it works out. So.
I think your philosophy of not fucking around with what yeast you put in and over pitching is a good strategy.
Yeah,
to just go for it.
At our level right now, it is. Yeah, I mean, if we got bigger, of course, we got to get a lab and do everything right to make sure everything is really consistent.
Okay.
I mean, we're getting pretty consistent right now, but yeah, we just fuck it, just put
go
the
for
yeast
it
in there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we got to do a little bit of beer news, I believe. So we got a lot of beer news today. Beer news brought to you today by the Wine and Hop Shop. Moscow, what's in the news this week?
Well, you guys remember last show I was reporting on the Aussie equipment supplier that had taken a lot of people's money and not delivered a lot of equipment?
I saw, the thief.
Yeah. Well, I got
how it was reported anyway.
And that was the information that was available at the time. So I did get an email. I'm not going to say the guy's name because he didn't want me to name his employer or anything. So I'll just read his email.
Okay.
He said, I was just listening to the Munkus session and was surprised to hear you guys bring up the Aussie Brewing supplier ripoff story associated with Temple Brewing and their attempted purchase of a pilot system. I work for Temple's distributor here in Melbourne, and we actually distribute Sierra Nevada and Heretic as well. You guys seem to be missing a few key tidbits, so...
Hang on, just quick recap, 2 sentences, really. There was a brew house supplier in Australia that was taking down payments on equipment and then not delivering the equipment.
Correct.
And a bunch of breweries ended up out their down payments. No equipment ever arrived.
And he fell off the radar, and wasn't answering people's emails.
Follow up to that.
Yes, exactly. He says, so I thought I'd fill in the blanks as the company that took everyone's money has moved back to the U.S. The company in question is called Core Brewing Concepts. Micah Reese is the owner-operator of Core Brewing. He's an American that started Core Brewing in Melbourne a few years ago. Once all of the shit hit the fan, like people getting upset that their down payments were gone and they would never receive the equipment they ordered, it seems like Micah decided to move back to the U.S. and begin operating there under the same business name with a similar logo and offering. Interesting choice based on the amount of bad press that he got here in the Australian brewing scene. You might notice that his Facebook, Twitter, and previous Australian websites have all been disabled, and he gives the links. However, it looks like he's open for business in the States. Suppose this makes your story a little bit more relevant to the stateside market, might be worth a re-mention. Like I said, I'm not going to mention this guy's name. So when I wrote him back today and said, hey, thanks for the email, I'm going to be reporting it on the show tonight, he said, cool, don't mention my employer. I don't want to associate my interpretation of the story with the employer. But he said another detail since he wrote this email, Australian Brews News, which is the website I got the story from in the first place, did a podcast on the story where they interviewed Micah. He said, I believe Micah stated that he wants to try and pay everybody back that was left out of pocket, but I'm not sure where that stands at the moment.
Okay.
So I guess he has now come on the record in some capacity.
At least owned that something happened.
Right. So maybe there's hope for all you guys that are out some cash just yet.
Well, the cool thing is he went on a podcast and did it, and who the fuck listens to podcasts? So no one heard him,
Fucking dummies!
Yeah, he's like, I know what I'll do. I'm going to own up to it on a podcast.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, so that little follow-up, and hopefully if anyone who is out money is listening, there's a glimmer of hope for you.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And if you're stateside, be wary of core brewing concepts. And if Micah, if you would like to come on and set the record straight, by all means, we're all ears.
Sure. Yeah. We don't have any. We don't care.
All right, moving along. Brewdog, JP's favorite brewery, has announced a plan to open a new brewery in Columbus, Ohio.
And I like how JP just picks breweries. Like, I don't know. You know what? You know which one I'm not going to like this week? That one.
Yeah.
What did they ever do to you?
They make terrible beer, and I hate their marketing. I think they're douchebags.
Wow. But I've never met them. I've had a sip of one of their beers.
No, I've had
and I don't have a degree in marketing.
Their TV show lasted more than one season.
Yeah. Well,
that is like,
right.
So F that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like it.
I dislike that.
They are opening a new brewery in Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be huge. They're saying 100-barrel brew house in a 100,000-square-foot building, plus state-of-the-art canning line, restaurant, and tap room, expecting to employ about 100 people. Brewdog co-founder James Watt told the BBC that, quote, Columbus has got a fantastic beer scene already, and the people have always been so welcoming to us, so we felt it would be the perfect location for our stateside operation. We can't wait to start brewing on both sides of the Atlantic.
To piggyback on the American craft blah, blah, blah. I'm just kidding.
You don't even care.
No, I don't really give a shit.
Now, this is an example that as we mentioned in the beginning about bank loans. Now Brewdog is a brand that a bank will give $20 million to. They don't care. Go
I guess
for
an
it.
American bank, huh? What the hell?
Even in America, yeah. Well, I don't think there are any American banks left, but they don't even care. Any bank would say to Brewdog, really? You'd like $20 million to open a brewery in Columbus? Done.
Well, I wonder, do you think there's
They're
a chance that they maybe weren't interested in doing something so big, but because of what you're saying, like they couldn't even do a small operation?
No. James over there is a big thinker. I don't know if you remember having him on the show, but years ago. But he's like, nope, we're in this all the way.
I think it was before my time.
Big or nothing. No, you booked him. I think it was one of your first big guests that you booked. I think
Brewdog?
so. No. I thought was it Chad?
It might have been Chad.
No, Chad was a great producer.
He always got the big guys.
He always got the.
Did anybody know who they were?
He didn't bring in douchebags like us.
Yeah, we're sitting here with an iron fork.
Yeah,
right.
Iron fork or something.
We're here with Fire Fist.
Making some
Never been the
beer.
same.
We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Remember when Chad used to be here?
Yeah, those were the good old days.
All right, what else you got?
All right, Carlos Alvarez. He's the owner of the Gambrinus Company out of San Antonio.
Hate him.
JP's not a fan.
Just kidding. I love the award they give out, though.
Mm-hmm. He has announced that he's giving a $1 million gift to the Brewing Science program at UC Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Gambrinus owns Trumer out of Berkeley, Bridgeport out of Portland, and the Spetzel Brewery in Shiner, Texas. So big-time portfolio there. The gift is supposed to fund new brewing and lab equipment as Davis attempts to create the brewery of the future there on campus from our friend Professor Bamforth. Quote, this fantastic donation from Carlos Alvarez will allow us to develop our teaching and research capabilities in a way that surpasses anything I could have imagined when I first came to the university in 1999. I salute Mr. Alvarez's dedication to education, and I'm thrilled of what we will deliver with this contribution.
That was a great verbal hand job.
But
$1 million is a lot of money.
How about the podcast of the future?
Yeah,
Maybe
can
want to
I
invest
get a
in
gift
that.
of $1 million to help fund
We need
my
to contact
mic?
this guy. He's got millions to spare.
The life of the future is now.
We're not a nonprofit or an educational facility, so we're not a write-off.
Well, we're 1 out of 2.
Yeah.
We're marginally profitable.
Well, actually, no, we're neither. We don't make a profit.
Right.
And we do have education.
We
so
do
you're
have,
wrong.
And we're not reaping the benefits of either, basically.
Huh?
That is a lot of money. That's a big donation. I actually applaud him for doing that, and that's a big contribution to the brewing world. So people who go to UC Davis are our future brewers of America. I think that's pretty cool.
Big time. And his previous contributions to the brewing world are suspect in this crowd. I mean, he was the export manager for Grupo Modelo. He led the launch of Corona in the States. In 1986, he founded the Gambrinus Company, became the importer for Corona and the Modelo portfolio for the next 20 years. He basically oversaw the development of Corona into the number one imported beer, which
Good
it is
for him.
now.
Yeah.
So good on UC Davis there. Enjoy the money. Next up, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Is suing PBR.
My old buddy.
He's claiming that Pabst owes him a portion of the proceeds from the company's sale last year. So it's a breach of contract lawsuit, and
I saw this.
Snoop is seeking 10% of the net sales price paid to Pabst for its Colt 45 line, which was included in last year's sale.
Wait, now, is this a Snoop lawsuit or like just a black lawsuit? I
thought he was Snoop
Isn't
Lion.
he Snoop Lion?
Not anymore.
He's suing on behalf of blacks.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Colt 45. Come on, what, I'm the only
What's
one?
his claim? Did he promote it or something?
Wow.
How's that terrible panel working out for you?
Token, where you got my back?
Communications major.
Where's Token when I need him?
Here.
Your degree was not in race communication then?
Or is it gender?
The claim, Tasty, is that in 2011, Snoop signed a 3-year agreement to endorse Colt 45's fruit-flavored beer called Blast. You guys seen this? Blast?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, no, I have a case of it at home
I
right
think
now.
he was still Snoop Dogg in 2011.
What's he now? He's Snoop Lion?
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
he's
He used to be. No,
No,
now
how
he
he still
stopped.
What? He's like ODB now? He has to change his
he
name
went,
every year?
Rastafarian. It was terrible.
Yeah, Bob Marley left his body, and so
Yeah.
now he's not lying
He was
anymore.
the reincarnate of Bob Marley, and he got the blessing from the estate, and then I guess that only lasted a year or two.
He was doing all this seriously?
No, check YouTube. There are music
Clearly,
videos.
the Colt 45 suit is much more legitimate. So let me get this straight. Colt 45 was producing a brand that was Colt 45, but with fruit in it, called Blast.
Yes, they're still producing, as far as I know. The lawsuit states that his contract called for him to receive a portion of the sales price if Pabst sold its Colt 45 operations before January of 2016, which they did. His contract also called on the rapper to consult with Colt 45's marketing team at least once a year on how he could integrate Blast into his concerts and interviews and social media posts. So
I would love to have sat in on those consultant meetings with Snoop Lion Dog, where he's like, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go on stage, and first I'm going to smoke a blunt.
Yeah. And then all the white kids will cheer.
Right. And then I'm going to drink Blast, and I'm going to go, this is really good.
That's
All the
some
black
good
kids will
shit.
cheer.
Snoop Dogg has a cameo in Pitch Perfect 2.
Really?
I got to get his lawyer's name. I think I could
Think you can help?
cash in my portfolio of people I've promoted.
It was in his contract to sit in on consulting marketing meetings.
Yeah, and it's like it's no small amounts he's receiving for this, as you might imagine. He received an upfront payment of $250,000.
Wow!
And then he got $20,000 for every 10th mention on social media or TV or during a concert.
You realize that if we had that same deal with Four Loko, we would be half a millionaires right now.
When you got a mouse in your pocket?
Well, the amount of times that we have social media mentioned on the show Four Loko, we could have made some dough.
And not everything was in a positive light, but that doesn't matter.
That's a good point.
Right.
Kevin is sponsored by Four Loko now. He wears shirts. Haven't you seen him?
That's true. I do have a Four Loko polo shirt I should give Kev.
No, you don't.
Yeah, a listener sent it to us.
Wow.
A listener, after we started playing the tune and doing the thing.
Oh, yeah, that goes to Kevin.
Amazing.
Actually, that should get passed around as a trophy.
That's amazing.
So he's suing, but he's also suing for a percentage of the sale.
That is the only thing he's suing for, as far as I know.
Sorry, that was just his contract where he was getting $20,000 for every 10th mention.
Yeah,
but he's suing for what, like 10% of
the net? Yeah,
because that was in his contract. Like, who writes a contract like that? Oh,
his lawyer.
If you happen to sell the company by 2016, then you get what?
Smart lawyers.
Yeah. Right.
Smart lawyer looked at the beer scene and went, all right, we're going to sign this contract as a spokesperson. But what happens if they sell, because that's happening in the beer world right now, before the contract ever runs out?
Well, yeah, and they had written the contract to account for that if it did happen, and it did happen.
So he's going to get his money.
It seems like it as of now. I mean, Pabst is fighting it, I guess, but I don't know what leg they have to stand on if it's in his contract.
Well, they're in Russia, so they don't have to do anything.
By the way, for the past hour, Alex trying to get into his own beer.
Yeah, they're trying to cut the wax off still.
I'm looking at this.
I definitely put this on camera.
People have
People
to
need
do
to see
this
this.
so many times. It drives me crazy.
He's picking it off like little tiny piece by little
some
tiny
sort of like
It is definitely
gas-powered device. You
It's
can take the
definitely
cap off there.
drunk-proof.
Now, are you sure you coated it with wax, or is it like plastic?
It's like epoxy.
Right, yeah.
You know that packaging, like at the Best Buy, like anything you get now, you have to. And then, meanwhile, John opens it in a
Boom.
second
Just
with
use
his
his ring.
wedding ring.
Well, that's why you learn that real fast.
Alex,
after
I
you get
loosened it up. You think my pitching arm is good for nothing nowadays? I fucking loosened that bottle up, son. Well, I feel like Snoop Dogg's going to get his dollar bills.
It seems like it, and I don't know how much he's going to get. I mean, the whole deal was reportedly $700 million. It's unclear how much of that was for the Colt 45 part of the portfolio, but
most.
I mean, yeah, 650, 675. Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah. All right, so there's four main stories. There was a lot of news this week, though, so I figured maybe we could do a little lightning round so I can cover a few more headlines before we wrap up here. All right. Yeah. The Brooklyn Brewery has formed an alliance with Australia's Coopers Brewery, wherein Coopers will produce Brooklyn's beers down under. Brooklyn said the move follows increasing demand for its beer in Australia, where it has been on shelf since 2011. A startup formed at Oregon State University called Waste to Watergy has secured a $250,000 federal grant to advance a technology that removes organic from brewery wastewater while producing electricity. The one-year grant is supposed to allow the company to demonstrate if the fuel cell technology is scalable. Constellation Brands is pouring $2 billion into its Mexican brewing operations to boost the supply of Corona, Modelo Pacifico, and Victoria across the U.S. market. The money will more than double the capacity at their Neva, Mexico brewery by the end of 2017. Oscar Blues Brewery is increasing capacity. Its brewery in Brevard, North Carolina. First opened in December 2012, the expansion is expected to increase production from 85,000 barrels this year to an eventual 210,000 barrels. Ooh, and one last one. Thanks to some political contortionism in the form of new legislation, starting July 1, breweries in Atlanta, Georgia will, in a convoluted roundabout way, finally be able to sell beer to customers. Technically, they'll sell tours of the brewery, and patrons can then enjoy up to 36 ounces of free beer on site or take home up to 72 ounces as a souvenir. Congratulations on the baby steps, Atlanta, and hopefully I'll be reporting more budding out of the state in future news segments. That is all for this week's news segment, brought to you by the Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhop.com and support those who support the Brewing Network. You get $8 flat rate shipping, BN Army, on all orders under 50 pounds. Enter BN shipping in the notes of the shopping cart at checkout, wineandhop.com.
There we go. Yep. I love the roundabout ways that we get laws. Jessica, come in here, please. Come in the room here. Jessica here is a craft beer lawyer, and it fascinates me when states have to pass these strange laws like, well, we can't sell you beer directly, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to allow you to give away beer for every tour, plus allow you to take 72 ounces home as a souvenir. Now, Jessica, I know you're with the tell us who you're with.
Thanks so much, Justin. I'm actually up here from the craft beer attorney. Candace, my business partner, started our firm 6 years ago, and she was a visionary knowing that all these guys were going to be here, and so we're actually up from San Diego touring clients throughout the state the next week and a half.
And Candace is rad. She's very generous with her time. She's a nice person. Of course, she does a good business, too, helping out craft breweries. So you guys work mainly out of California. But we hear these news stories all the time, like the one that we just read, where we have to skirt the law. And not we, but even the lawmakers skirt the law. They make up some random loophole so that people can sell beer directly. You guys see this stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, what you're dealing with is because beer is behind wine in terms of some of the lobbying, and this is really what the CCBA and Tom McCormick's organization has been all about, is trying to push for self-distribution rights and people being able to ship beer to each other and ship beer across state lines. But there's states that have interest, and at the end of the day, the distributors have big interest in making sure that, consumers aren't able to do those things directly with each other.
And the distributors are more used to having to lobby and work within the laws and getting laws changed than, say, small brewers like Ironfire. They're not used to going to Capitol Hill and figuring out how to do this stuff.
Who?
Huh?
Huh? Yeah. What?
Right. And so, I mean, it's a great, I don't know, I jumped in a little late here, but I mean, this is a great opportunity to talk about Summit and what Summit's all about for CCBA in Sacramento. We're going to have the biggest beer festival in California across from the Capitol, September 11th. And
we're going to be there.
And taking over the convention center.
Yeah. We're going to set up a booth there and hang out at the convention center. We're going to do some video. We're going to do some recording. We're going to have Tom McCormick on the show here in just a few weeks to talk about it with us as well. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to have something like that going on because small brewers don't often get a voice in legislation. And so it just always fascinates me when I read these crazy stories and you hear the ridiculousness of the legalities, right? And then a firm like yours helps us navigate it. And then the CCBA, which has been doing this for a while, helps us navigate it. In fact, the Mammoth Brew Festival that we're going to, I think, is a fundraiser. I don't know if it's for the CCBA or if it's just for the... Is it CCBA?
Yes, CCBA is the main beneficiary of the bar sales for Blues-a-Palooza in July out at Mammoth Lakes.
So we're going to that for the first time ever this year as well. And I think that's a great thing that it's a fundraiser for them because small breweries need help. Yeah. Imagine not being able to sell beer out of your tasting room.
That would suck,
right?
Big time.
You wouldn't even have opened
we only
up.
Sell about 10% out of the tasting room.
Yeah.
The retail is huge.
The margin is obviously much higher.
Oh, it's crazy.
So you sell less beer out of there, but you make more profit.
Yeah.
It's your tasting room. It's yours.
It's our tasting room.
And it smooths out the cash flow for breweries too, because when you're waiting on distributors,
cash flow. Yeah. Because distributors, you'll be on a net 30 or a net 45. Well, you're not getting it in 30 days. You're not getting it in 45 days.
Right.
It's just business. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So you need something in between those big bulk payments just to pay the bills.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
You can pay your employees and stuff.
I wonder what kind of legal trouble we can get into tonight while Jessica's here to protect us.
Oh, really?
What do you think, guys?
This is where you get to slide the dollar bill across the bar. We always joke, it's all attorney-client privilege as soon as we get paid, and I guess we get paid in beer a lot. So.
Yeah, right?
We can do the Congress stuff. Somebody asks a question. Hold on.
Pardon me. I'm not allowed to answer that question.
Comment?
Yeah, no comment.
I'm asking for a friend. But somebody gave alcohol to someone who was 20 and 359 days old.
Right.
It's funny. We do this oftentimes. One of the benefits we have at Craft Beer Attorney is we talk with ABC quite frequently, and a lot of brewers are afraid to identify themselves when they call with questions about what's going on in their local areas.
Yeah.
So they call our office, and Candace calls, Lori Ajax or whoever the departments are at local offices, and we call, and it gives some anonymity to some of our clients about what they're up to.
Sure, I like
just
it.
Pretend I'm from another brewery.
So I just thought of a great new, and I'm not joking at all. I just thought of a great new segment that we should do with your office and our show called "Is It Legal?" And we could come up with some of these random questions that brewers are afraid to ask ABC directly or others, and we can maybe cover it on the show. We can set up an email address for pro brewers and home brewers to send stuff in, and then maybe we can partner with your office and do a little segment called "Is It Legal?"
One of the things that the BA has on the forum, we're actually involved in the loop right now. We have a quarterly newsletter that goes out called the B5, and it was all about festivals and what it means to participate in a beer festival. And we've actually jumped on the forum with the BA, and we're talking about that right now. Can you pay your staff to be there? Can you,
Right.
What are all the rules? Can you donate beer? What are the qualifications? How do you find out if these guys are just a bunch of guys who created a 501c6 to have a party?
Sure.
Is there any money that's actually being generated? So we've actually just jumped on the BA forums feed this week about
Nice. Because it's like the Wild West out here right now. We're trying to figure it out, and the ABC's sort of catching up. And I don't think anybody's doing it intentionally. We come up with ideas, we come up with events, and then we sort of figure out later what if it's legal or not. I don't think anybody's trying to do it. But we should try to do this. Is
and
legal
ABC,
segment.
I think, isn't in the business of shutting anybody down. And
Right.
For those who were attending at CCBA's conference when Lori Ajax spoke in May, their big issue right now is they don't want to have minors drinking alcohol. And one of the biggest things is if you're up near a university campus, the chances that you're going to be shot for an MIP type,
highly.
is high. And, those are the kinds of issues that they're really looking at right now. They don't really care if you're giving away things often to, promote good causes. That's not what they're in the business to police right now.
Sure. I think you and Candace should come and do a legal show with us, and just so we can address all this stuff. I would like to give a personal thanks to Candace. So Candace was referred to me by Jamil up at Heretic Brewing Company when we were opening the Hop Grenade, and my concern was that the Hop Grenade and the Brewing Network are two different entities. There are two different business licenses. We sublease this space that we're sitting in from the Hop Grenade and all this stuff. However, because we get a little vulgar and we get a little weird on the program, I was concerned about getting the Hop Grenade in trouble, what repercussions might be with our staff if we offend somebody, or if we and Candace was really nice to me, and she gave me lots of great advice, and then referred me to somebody who could give me even better advice, who is more on the human relations side of the law. And I'll give you the answer that we got ultimately, which I found very fascinating, because the person that she referred me to, and forgive me that I don't have her name right now, but she was very cool and she was very honest, and she basically said, there is nothing we can do legally to protect you from the type of things you're talking about. Although it's not all that far out there. You just need to buy a shitload of insurance. And it was really good legal advice that she was just saying, you know, you can get sued for anything, about anything. And yes, the things you're talking about, if you're saying vulgar things, you guys get a little crazy in there, you're maybe even more likely to get sued. So you should probably just buy a lot of insurance, and then you're going to be fine, and don't worry about it, and relax and have some fun in there. And it was fucking great advice, I thought. So that's what we did. We bought a shitload of insurance.
Does the underwriter listen to a few podcasts to determine how likely it is you're going to get sued?
Well, she never sent me recommendations of like her underwriters, and I think maybe that was she's like, listen, I don't want my people to have to deal with you, but somebody will deal with you who maybe doesn't know what they're doing. But Candace was fantastic. And what is the office again, so people can, who are looking for a craft beer attorney?
So basically, we're based in San Diego, which we like to say is about a sixth of the breweries here in the state of California, just in the county now. And but we do a lot of things via webinar, and we've finally got caught up on Skype, and so we are now the floating head on your table in your brewery. And we've been doing a couple of webinars now the last few months. The most recent one was just last week. We're dealing with stormwater permit awareness, which is actually part of the reason I'm out on the road is walking the footprints of breweries to make sure everybody's ready to go by July 1st.
Good. Excellent. And the new book that you guys have out is Brew Law 101, the California edition, a legal guide to opening a brewery. Obviously, California-centric here, but there's so many breweries opening in California. I'm going to put it on the camera, Bevo, so that people can see it. It's by Candace Moon, Esquire, and Stacy Allura Hostetter. Brew Law 101. I think you should probably, those of you in the brewing planning phases who are buying the Brewer's Publication book, Planning a Brewery, and all the others, you might want to consider adding this to your repertoire, especially because, like I said, it's the Wild West now, but everything's catching up. It's getting weird out there. So check it out. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and then I think we're going to come back. We've got some feedback to do. JP, I want to hear about your Pico Brew action, because I haven't heard about that since the last brew day.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell me about how you're doing with your Pico Brew.
Right now?
No, when we come back. You served a beer on it. That's
what I want to talk about.
At NHC, right?
Yeah, for club night.
Okay, so let's do that. We'll take just a quick break. It's going to be 5 minutes, no music in between. We're going to get right back in here, and we'll do feedback. We'll talk about Pico Brew, and we'll get down to business. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
Listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy All-Grain Brewing System. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
BN Army, I'm here to talk seriously for a second. You all are partially responsible for something explosive, and it's time you answer for it.
Moonlight Meadery is exploding.
Yeah, exploding across the country. Wait, they just landed in Australia with insane quality meads.
With nearly 70 different varieties of mead on the market, Moonlight Meadery has blown up the mead category and completely reinvented it.
Seriously?
What?
Seriously.
What?
You're paying money for that watered-down mead when you could have a Moonlight mead?
Moonlight meads explode with quality and flavor.
They're a party in a bottle.
Did someone say party?
If you want mead and want the best, you want meads from Moonlight Meadery and will accept nothing less.
And now get 15% off by going to moonlightmeadery.com/BNArmy and use coupon code BNArmy at checkout.
Hey, sign me up for that party.
Attention home brewers, if you like making labels for your handcrafted awesomeness and wished more people could see how great you are, then check this out. Grog Tag, the makers of custom reusable labels, and craftbeerandbrewing.com are hosting the first ever National Homebrew Label Awards. The top 10 labels will be featured at the 2015 National Homebrewers Conference in San Diego to more than 5,000 attendees, and more than $2,500 in prizes will be awarded. If you created a label at any time in the past year, you're eligible to enter. Grog Tag and Craft Beer and Brewing have teamed up with great sponsors like More Beer and the Brewing Network to make this competition a great one to enter. Submit your entries between March 1st and June 1st for your chance at fortune and glory at homebrewlabelawards.com. That's homebrewlabelawards.com. Submit your label entries today. Good luck, and we'll see you in San Diego. Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's the session.
Everybody's on vacation all of a sudden. Hey, welcome back to the program. Hey, don't let me forget to tell you about Adam and Eve, our wonderful sponsor who wants to do wonderful things to you and your parts. Go to adamandeve.com right now. You can use coupon code BNARMY. That's BNARMY. And you get 50% off just about any one item. You get free shipping. You get 10 free DVDs. You get a special gift for him. You get a gift for her.
Who?
Right up there.
Her. I was pointing at Beardy, clearly.
Yeah. That motion you was like...
You get all sorts of stuff. Coupon code BNARMY. They're a longtime sponsor of this program. They like you. You like them. You know it. And you don't have to go stand in the creepy store with the creepy guy looking at you. And
unless you want to.
Although you could go to Safeway and still do that.
You could still do that at the Safeway in Martinez. Yeah. That's true, where I live. But otherwise, do it all online. adamandeve.com. Coupon code BNARMY. All right, so we've got feedback to do, but I wanted to hear about the Pico Brew action that's going on. So Pico Brew, of course, being the all-in-one brewing system. It looks like a microwave. You push a button and it makes beer.
That's right.
Is that the whole? Is that their tagline?
That's exactly right. Actually, they were looking for it, and you won.
But you've been using it, and what are you thinking now?
I love it. And so on club night at our club booth, because I don't know if you knew, but the Brewing Network is a homebrew club.
I've heard about it.
Okay. I brought 2.5 gallons of the ESB that I made, and it was my first public release.
Of your Pico Brew?
Of my Pico Brew.
And how did you feel about your public release?
I liked it. I don't necessarily like...
You don't like anything.
I know. I don't like anything. I don't really like homebrew all that much.
I don't like that.
But you liked that.
But I thought it was good. And if I don't think it's at least halfway decent, I'm not going to serve it.
Okay.
Which I had other beer that I contaminated myself in the fermentation. And but I liked it. It was 2.5 gallons, so it went really quickly. But I think it was gone in like 20 minutes.
ESB?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Stug, did you happen to have any? I'm sure you did. I took it to Annie at the Pico Brew. I found her booth. She was serving some weird shit. And
did she brew on it too?
Did she do it? She may have done it on the Pico Brew, but it had like smoked chicken pieces. She's crazy. Okay. And she really liked it, and so we were talking a little bit about the subtleties of the Pico Brew and all that kind of stuff. But I was really quite pleased with it.
Why aren't you brewing on it like every 5 minutes? It seems
because I haven't yet found a machine to clean and sanitize my carboys or rack into my keg yet.
God damn it! But they've taken out half of the cleaning and sanitizing.
Actually, I meant to do it this weekend. I just ran out of time. So.
I thought Beardy was the machine to do that.
You ran out of time pushing that button.
Look at him.
Yeah, when you push the button,
I'm a machine.
He's like a carboy scrubber.
Is he?
In his face?
Yeah.
Got it all right
he
there.
already owes me a carboy.
Yeah,
I don't trust him with glass.
Shitty old carboys that are pre-cracked for me to cut myself on.
Sure.
Oh, you are the one that cut Beardy.
Yeah.
No.
Your equipment.
His own genetic indifferences ruined his finger for him.
It's a ginger thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I see.
So I don't know. I was pretty excited about it. I am going to brew this weekend on it again. I have another beer that's just finishing up already.
What are you going to brew this weekend?
I have no idea. Probably another ESB. I'm really stoked on ESBs right now.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a weird style to be hung up on.
It's like 4% and just golden, man.
But there are other things for 4% too.
Sure, but I wanna get an ESB recipe down.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good way to do it. 2.5 gallon batches.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like the Pico Brew for, and that's kind of the way I am.
I've got one in my. I've had one in my hallway for 3 months.
Yeah.
What, an ESB?
No, Pico Brew.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
How come you're not using it every 5 minutes?
I'm fucking busy.
Oh, same thing as JP?
Yeah.
But Beardy doesn't blob a
I'm going to go back.
Tasty.
I'm going to do it. I'll open it up.
I think you should.
Unpack it, put it to work.
Brewing Classic Styles has a great ESB recipe, I'm sure. You could just take it right out of there.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why you're messing around with it.
That's true.
Maybe Annie was multitasking and she was sous videing her chicken while brewing in the Pico Brew.
But I like it. I think it's been a blast, and I'm glad that it was well received.
Okay.
At the club booth.
All right. Let's do feedback. Feedback's brought to you today by Beer Law Center. Our good friend John over at beerlawcenter.com. He protects our trademark, and he can protect yours too. In fact, he's working hard on protecting the hop grenade right now. There's a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
There's always a whole thing going on. But John at beerlawcenter.com can take care of you. He's been taking care of us for years. He went to NHC. He's also a home brewer. So he likes being around pro brewers and home brewers and everything else. We saw him down in San Diego this week. So go check it out, beerlawcenter.com. Here's your feedback. A lot of stuff came through this week, JP.
Yeah, well, we were offered like 4 weeks or whatever it is.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So Ryan writes in, Steve Perry or Paella, the other guy. By the way, just as a disclaimer, I don't think his name is Payet. This is what we call him.
I added that in because he misspelled the guy's name. I'm like, I'm just going to put Payet because that's what it should be.
He says, it reminds me of the 90s version of my friends and I used to play a game called Axl Rose or Chris Cornell. We always chose Chris Cornell because fuck Guns N' Roses, that ain't singing.
That's bullshit.
I think that's bullshit, too. Who doesn't choose... I'm a Chris Cornell fan.
GNFNR? Come on.
But Axl Rose has a lot more style.
Yeah.
You know, mostly to do with drugs. So...
Hey, you know.
Drugs gives you style. Hey, kids, I don't care what your parents tell you.
Drugs. Just ask Uncle Krusty.
No, just stop talking.
Legally, am I going to come back
yes.
from that one? Is that okay? Just checking.
You got a big insurance policy.
I think she's right. Get lots of insurance.
By the way, Ryan says the Hop Grenade chair that I bought is in the garage and great for brewing duties. Brewing duties.
Right. He's sitting there brewing his shit.
All right. Mike from Massachusetts writes in, hey, Justin, I'm a high school chemistry teacher and wanted to weigh in on something from last week's show. The guys at Crooked Stave were not trying to dupe you with their red blueberry beer. If you remember, I went up and got a great beer at the Firestone Fest. They said it was a blueberry lambic.
And it was red.
But it was bright red,
Yeah.
and I thought that the volunteer was a dipshit, and it turns out I was the dipshit. He says, in fact, a blueberry beer would probably taste like balls. Which is a flavor descriptor, I think.
Yeah.
The color of the dye in blueberry skin is actually pH dependent. In acidic solutions, it appears red, while in basic solutions, it appears blue, or even green if the pH is high enough. So beer, especially sour beer, is acidic, so that the color was spot on. Been listening to the show for 2 years. Thanks for the great beer and endless entertainment, Mike.
I just detected an audible exhale from the Ironfire guys. You take exception to that?
Did you like the beer?
I did like the beer.
Who cares?
Well,
thanks for the tip, Mike. I'll be dropping that green-blue knowledge all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I only cared because I thought I'm ordering a blueberry beer and it didn't look blue. I thought the cliche thing, and
you wanted to be superior.
And all right, actually, more importantly, to answer your question, us fucking beer nerds care. Like we're such nerds about this stuff that we're like, I don't know, it doesn't look blue to me, sir. It must not be right. I'm pretty sure that this is not a blueberry beer.
Yeah.
And so really, that's it. Yeah, it's us.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, not at all. You're not offended at all. Actually, I think you make a great point, which is why I made fun of us. All right, Sean writes in, Homebrew Network Organizers. That's our other entity?
Yeah, apparently. Is that another division?
Yeah. Okay. I was just hoping the podcast for Brew Strong and Brewing with Style could be uploaded. As a listener from Australia, I can't catch the episodes live. All right, my apologies. I am working on it, and then we left for NHC. I have episodes for you. Don't worry. You'll get
I want to know what he was doing after he was wondering.
Yeah.
I was just wondering this.
I was just wondering that, and when they stopped wondering.
It's cliffhanger.
Back to porn.
He wrote the email.
All right, Steve writes in... here we go. Hey, guys, I just wanted to give you a little info on your recent poll of who's the best Journey vocalist. If you didn't listen to our last show...
recap of fucking Palooza?
Well, we're looking, the argument was Steve Perry or Apnell Paella.
Which is delicious,
right?
With a nice Chianti.
The Filipino kid.
And I discovered through much polling that everybody likes the Filipino kid better.
Right. This guy will be the guy to decide it, I feel.
Untrue.
You are an idiot.
Well, we got some new voters here. What do they think?
You know what? We listened to that podcast on the way up.
Would you like to weigh in on the Filipino kid or Steve Perry?
Steve Perry.
Fuck you.
One for the Filipino kid.
Like I said.
Filipino kid. We watched that video.
Filipino kid from the video. Thank you. All right. So
Whatever, they cross-cancel each other. We're back at the same point.
Cross-cancel.
Yeah. All right. Well, Steve writes in, I want to chime in on who's the best. I actually work for the band. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I want to stop for a moment and just reveal that I am giddy inside. I am so fucking happy that a member of the Journey, like someone who works for Journey, listens to our shitty program. I have never been so honored. Like I have had great brewers come into this room and say we listen to your program. Your Calajonis, your Chilurzos. Yeah. It does not mean shit to me compared to a roadie from Journey. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to you right now.
Underwear.
My heart is racing.
You've been validated.
I'm so excited. excited.
What are the chances that the 1 out of 2 listeners you have is a member of Journey?
It's a member, yeah. So Steve works for the band. I work for the band, and I thought you would like to know a few things. Steve Perry is not the original vocalist of Journey. Okay. They actually had 3 albums released before Perry joined the band. Well, but, I mean, who really cares? I mean, nobody cares.
Yeah,
right?
but it's interesting. You can't have a who is the best singer of Journey poll without the other alternate.
I feel like you can because the basis of the question is who, I mean, I think it's obvious who of the singers that matter is the best. But I'll carry on.
Doing a deep injustice.
So Steve Perry was not the first. Greg Rowley was the original. Arnel Pineda, so not Apnel Paella.
Who's that?
Arnel Pineda also did not replace Perry. They had a vocalist named Steve Augeri, who was the first Perry replacement, who was with the band for about a decade and released 3 albums with them. But who heard any of those?
Right.
I mean, Steve, I hope you don't hold this against me when I want backstage passes to Journey, but clearly nobody was paying attention. Lastly, I wanted to let you know that Arnel is actually in his 40s, but has the energy of a kid. Thanks, guys, and keep up the good work. Again, I defend us. He's a little Asian kid, and he looks like he's 20.
He's a Filipino kid.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But they look young.
They all of them do, except the really old ones.
And when we argue, I was like, the kid's probably 70.
Yeah.
But he's a healthy young man.
Sure.
Because he eats great cuisine and he dances around on stage. I don't know. They have a healthier lifestyle. It's genetics.
They do?
Genetics is important.
I feel like the Philippines aren't known for their high food quality and low lead content.
I don't know, but what I do like is that I've become the standard for race relations on tonight's program.
Me too.
Steve, I love you and the band that you work for.
Yeah.
And thank you for writing in.
Yeah.
I hope you're listening to this on the road and your night's not too shitty.
I feel like he should have us out for a concert so we could evaluate live.
Who's better?
Who is better?
The hologram of Steve Perry,
Right. Yeah. Jumbotron Steve Perry,
or the Filipino kid.
Right.
I think we all know the answer to that question already.
Do we know? I don't think we do.
I think we do.
I think that you're still an idiot.
All right, let me ask this though: if we got invited to a Journey concert, we would all go.
Of course.
Like
Yes.
no one says
Yes.
no to go to Journey.
Right.
No one says
We're
no
bringing beer.
to tickets.
And we're bringing beer. Yeah. Right.
Now we'll go see anybody.
We're also going to Mariah Carey. We don't give a shit.
We're just getting started.
Actually, I don't think I would go to. Have you heard
this
that?
is where the women get to vote in from Craft Beer Attorney because we've all sang that song at Beer Club.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Cue that up, Moscow.
I got to go. I have to go. Steve, hook a brother up. I want to go see. I had a friend call another friend and say, "Hey, I'm seeing a Journey cover band right now, and they're really good." And the friend answered, "Isn't Journey already a cover band now?" Because they have app now.
Yes.
No, Journey is great. I don't care who's singing, but the Filipino kid's the best. Moving on. Marcus writes in. Hey, I had a wonderful time listening to the Monkish session, which was that our last show that we did?
Yes. I think it was. I had a great time here, too.
He said that was a masterful booking that satisfied my desire to hear from some brewers who were willing to discuss their lives and business in an unvarnished fashion. I'm an tasty old television producer, and I despise public relations spin. So I was impressed with how the brewcasters reacted and how they did the seldom heard honesty. Good on all of you for rising to the occasion. Do more of that. I feel like we're honest most of the time.
This guy's super blown away by the most mundane tasks of radio.
Well, maybe so, except that oftentimes we dick around calling Fire Fist, whatever we call them.
Yeah.
And then Monkish comes on and we're like, wow, you're such a thoughtful brewer. I like how you
I think Henry with his Asian wiles calmed us down.
Are you saying it was voodoo?
It was some Zen. It was some Zen bullshit.
And we're like, God, you're just so thoughtful about everything.
Yeah, he was probably 80, but like Apnell looks
I think I told him that to his face. Henry, I'm pretty sure you're 80, but you're too calm. That's why you look so young.
Yeah.
You're calm all the time.
You can sit in the church pew in Henry's Brewery if you go to Torrance and do your penance. There's actually a church pew from the 1890s. In there.
We were there, although I didn't see the pew. We were too busy drinking.
It was there in the tasting room.
Oh, right, yeah.
You'd be in there a long, long time.
Marcus does finish by saying, on my behalf, please tell JP to suck it and Beardy to shut the fuck up. So, there you go. All right, Mason writes in, Dear Brewcasters, I've been listening to your podcast for about a year, and I dig them. One of the first things that hooked me was the great rejoin music you always play. I thought that was really good, but then Moscow put in music from that Kyle guy, and I found it really boring, and it didn't fit the show. I really liked Kyle and listened to him about beer. He seems like a cool guy, but I didn't like the music. From Mason.
I used it for one rejoin when he was on the show.
I know.
So
and then I think
Mason.
I accidentally used it for one rejoin, too.
No, I told him, I was like, in Scott's defense, it was left in for the break, and then he wrote back, and he's like, I was kind of drunk, but I stand by what I said.
I will, however, defend him in one sense. I really like Kyle's music, but I feel like the music you chose was just porn music. It was like this weird funk jam porn song.
Then clearly you haven't listened to much of Kyle's music.
Oh,
it's all in that vein.
Oh, I see. All right. Travis writes in, I'm wondering when you will have Brewing Network work shirts back in stock. I don't know, soon or something.
There's Hop Grenade work shirts, and those are close.
Oh, yeah, you can go to hopgrenade.com and get those. All right, and then Dear Justin, Jamil, John, Bevo, et al. This is my first NHC this year, and I had a great time.
That's a long one, and I can sum it up for you if you want.
Go, do it.
This guy thinks that the decline in home brewing is directly related to the amount of shitty beer that was at Club Night. He goes, I had ran through 10 booths, and not one was good. And he's like, how do you serve an oatmeal stout that has no body and is full of diacetyl? Like, how do you do that? And so he's basically like begging people to do a fucking QC test before you put your beer out and say, this is an example of what our club can do. It's probably why they don't win Club of the Year.
Right.
I mean, I added that last part. But
I see,
so
yeah.
that's
good
all he's
paraphrasing.
saying. Yeah,
though.
thank you.
I feel the same. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I mean,
we've been saying that for years. And homebrew, it sort of ebbed and flowed. Like when we came in, it was really bad. And then a few years into it, all these clubs were producing good beer. And then it got flooded with new homebrewers. And then the beers.
And then the learning.
And then the beers. It was a learning curve.
Honestly, I had a great interaction at Club Night. I had a lot of great homebrews, which is very rare. So for me, it was totally opposite of what this guy was saying. I found a lot of good beers to drink.
All right.
They were all my own. No.
Justin, I think more people should donate so that you can take more Hawaiian holidays and get more YouTube backstage passes, and that way JP could host more programs, as he's a great host of the session.
Well,
I'm all for this plan.
Yeah, me too. Wait, shit.
JP can keep right on hosting. Maybe. And then finally, Chris writes, the demise of homebrewing. It's a question. Do I have to read this one?
Well, with a title like that, I feel like now you got to pay it off.
Was that it? Did I surmise the wrong one? I may have surmised the wrong one.
Demise of homebrewing?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. My local homebrew shop here in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, okay, no. I know this one, too.
The 28th largest metro area in the U.S. Thank you for your fucking social commentary about the size.
We don't get enough of that.
Told me that business was down 90% this year.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
And the only thing keeping them afloat was the tap room for their 5-gallon at a time micro nano brewery.
Wow.
What is a micro nano? Smaller than a nano. They told me a couple other shops in our region they're also closing, and the major shop here in town is following the money trail from homebrewing supplies to taproom expansion for their on-site brewery. Add to this, 2 clubs in town are seeing less activity from members. In a session from a month or so ago, you mentioned one of your online retailer sponsors shut down. That's true. Are you seeing this trend away from homebrewing? My local shop attributed it to the proliferation of all the new craft breweries, where it seems like a new one opens every month. A solemn cheers from Chris.
So a new brewery opens every month, and therefore there's too much commercial beer and people aren't homebrewing? What is his point there?
That's what he's asking.
Homebrewing sales are dropping off. I first heard of that.
All right, so homebrewing sales are not on the decline. my understanding is that they're leveling off. So we were seeing exponential growth, and homebrew shops were seeing growth just like craft breweries. And now homebrew shops are seeing a decline in that growth, and it's a pretty significant decline. But it's not a decline in sales. So it's like it's plateauing. In other words, however, it has not even plateaued just yet. I think the problem is that certain mom and pop shops who haven't kind of gotten ready for this happening, who were sort of, a few years ago, like when we started and 5 years after that, you could open up a homebrew shop and do very, very little and make a little bit of a killing. Like you could just sell, and it's really not that way. And if you weren't paying attention to the times and kind of getting your head around how retail works and changing the business, maybe looking for a better retail location, making the shop experience a little more palatable for people other than beer geeks, then yes, those folks are very much seeing a hit in how homebrew sales is happening. Other shops who are paying attention and growing and learning about retail and shining things up a little bit, expanding the variety, making it palatable for all sorts of people to come in, and like I said, not just us fat, tubby know-it-alls and homebrew geeks. I didn't mean to look at you, but I sort of did, but I didn't actually. JP,
I feel like app now.
So anyhow, there is going to be a little shakeout right now, and I do think that's homebrew shops got to step it up. You got to figure that stuff out. You got to advertise properly. There are avenues to do that. For example.
Like basic brewing radio?
like other beer podcasts.
You got the URL.
But you also got to figure out what people are there to do. What about during gift season when people are looking like for Father's Day gifts or Mother's Day gifts or Valentine's Day gifts, all of this sort of stuff. If your shop is like a dingy garage and it's all dusty and it has grain all over the place and you can't find anything on the shelf, you're going to have a hard time staying alive right now. But those of you who are looking to become an experience and really get it, like actually running a business, you might do okay. So that is my 2 cents on the thing. I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that because tons of craft breweries are opening up, the rest of the homebrew shops are going to go out of business. I don't think that's the case. I think these two things still go hand in hand. You go out and you drink some great beer, and maybe you want to brew some yourself. But you guys are going to have to get good at it. You can't just open your doors and then sit around.
I think some of it has to do with there's a lot of great beer. I mean, that's why people were homebrewing in the 90s anyways, because you couldn't find the styles that you could brew at home. And so sometimes it's just easier to go get a 6-pack of Easy Jack and just say, fuck everything.
It might be so. And in fact, in my personal experience, it's a little bit like that. I mean,
but a little bit, but
I
not
can
a lot.
buy great beer all the time. So I only homebrew when I feel like actually doing the process, like doing the hobby. I don't homebrew because I can't get the good beer.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Kind of like you're saying.
Yeah, I think now we're seeing people just wanting to exercise their creativity versus brewing for consumption solely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Don't worry too much about it, but I would recommend to homebrew shops out there that you step up your game. All right, just a couple more here real quick. Jason writes in, this is about our Club of the Year thing at the beginning here. It was funny to hear all the boos in the crowd when the Brewing Network was named Homebrew Club of the Year.
Yeah, I was laughing.
Again. He says, I applaud Justin for calling out other clubs and telling them that basically they should step up their game. Let's be honest, most of the beer at club night was good, but some of the shit being served there would have never found a home in a keg or a bottle. So you guys got to step it up. I'm proud to listen to list the Brewing Network as my club, et cetera, et cetera. I've been brewing for 10 years. I don't know. He goes on. I think he won some medals.
He has some things.
He says, step up your game or don't be pissed off when we win again. All right. Well, don't forget, we've now started a thread on our forum so that you can go chime in. In fact, I think we even put a poll up there. Should we continue as we have and just give a middle finger to everybody?
Yes.
Should we drop out of the race because we're such badasses and we're tired of being booed? Or should we split the club in 2 or 4?
Yeah, or feel free to offer your own whatever. But
is there an other category?
Yes, and then you just leave a post.
Open ideas.
In the thing. But it's in the general beer related.
Okay.
Because I didn't know where else to put it.
That sounds great to me.
Thank you.
And finally, our spam of the week. I received this subpoena today, and it has your name on it. What is this about? From John.
I love it.
Well, John.
You sure it's not John from Beer Law Center?
Right. And there's an attachment, of course, that you're supposed to open, and then everything blows up. But,
right.
I thought that was just so personal. And
who would open that? Like, you're clearly targeting sort of criminals, right? They're like, oh, shit, they know about that?
That's subpoena.
I better open this document.
Right. Or, like, more importantly, I didn't send a subpoena. Who's John? I should open it to find out what it is. Oh!
Yeah.
Idiots.
I have this subpoena with your name on it.
What's this about?
God, I was pretty sure that nobody saw me do that. Yeah. Now I have to open this and read it.
And why did they give it to John and not me?
I wish we could have a show. I think a whole podcast series could be interviewing people who fall for spam scams.
For phishing scams?
The people who open those.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to hear what they have to say about the world?
Yeah.
Like, I would like to go, all right, so you got the subpoena email, right? And that woman's like, I know. Can you believe it?
Me. I mean,
Little old me.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college, but, I mean, come on.
And then, so once we find out how stupid they are, we could then ask them about the world and get their advice on how to vote, right? So Donald Trump or...
Yeah.
And every time they go, I don't know.
Or Marco Rubio.
I just don't know. But can you believe that they found out I was stealing candy from babies? It's amazing. All right.
I'm going to write in Obama again.
That's all we have for today. Don't forget to listen to our other programs, which is Dr. Homebrew and other shit. I don't know what we do. I would like to thank the Ironfire guys for driving all the way up from Temecula, California to drink some beer with us, share some beer with us.
Yeah.
More like Temecula.
I think they got a
Great.
Are we Twitter game too and shit?
Yeah, are we saving all these Drunk of the Week voicemails to the next show?
Yeah, I'm out of here. What's our Twitter game and what was the answer?
So it was the photo of you looking really awesome with your frosted tips on stage at
NXT. I was looking handsome.
And so I want to know, ask people what you were talking about.
And what did we get?
Patrick Snyder says, and this is quoting you, so you're probably all asking each other why I got my hair highlighted for NHC. That's pretty cool.
That was it?
Yeah. John
good question.
John Indish says you were talking about Bevo's ass.
Oh, that's more likely.
Yeah. Kelly Wingert says, quote, and that is how chronic masturbation gave me claw hands. Because you're doing this whole gesturing
Yeah,
thing.
no. I remember my claw hands. Yeah, that's good.
Conrad B says, quote, wouldn't it be cool to grow a hop this big just for the hell of it?
Okay.
That was pretty good. Don Boyle says, quote, I was told this stage could hold Gary plus his beer glass, but are we really sure it can hold my hair, too?
Right.
Okay. Jeff Grainlick says, quote, I need a volunteer from the audience to zip up my fly. It's okay. I'm way too drunk to get past half chub.
That's accurate.
And last but not least, Brian Bartkus says, after 10 years of this show of donations and sponsors, this is the nicest shirt that I own. Thank you.
I'll have you know that shirt was custom made.
By Apnel Padagaga.
Yeah, Apnel Paea's mother made that shirt for me.
Padagaga.
My God.
Claw hands for sure.
Yeah, masturbation claw hands.
All right, there we go.
That's our Twitter game winner.
Who I assume is a female.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to send our Twitter game winner an Ironfire T-shirt for playing and winning the Twitter game today.
Those are hard to get.
And they are hard to get, so we'll send that out to you. Send your size and your shipping information over to bevo at thebrewingnetwork.com, and we will get you your prize.
Yeah, we'll just have one of the guys take the shirt off their back and leave it with us.
That's
and then
right.
we'll ship it to you.
And if you have won the Twitter game over the last couple of weeks and have not yet emailed me, please do so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's if you want your shit. All right, next week on the program, we've got Noble Ale Works, which is also from Southern California, right?
Yeah.
What's
From
SoCal
guys are
thing?
awesome.
Wow. You like those guys?
Oh, yeah.
I think
we hit it off at a beer fest once.
Okay.
I love it. For sight.
I am not drinking any man's milk next week. That is for sure.
I wish everyone could see
what about
JP's
naughty
reaction.
Are you going on a diet, Warren?
Nothing compares to yours.
Ew.
Noble Ale Works next week on the on the program. Oh, Jesus.
They're right by. They're right near Disneyland too. So they're great.
So there's that.
We should go to their place for the interview.
Shut up. Jessica, how'd we do? We in trouble?
You're a good kill the social media person thing.
Right.
You know, it's always interesting. You know, we as all-women office in San Diego are used to being in the boys' club, and so none of it surprises me anymore, so I'm probably not your best filter.
Yeah.
Can we work on my segment, though, this Is It Legal segment with you guys?
Yeah, we'd love to. I mean, we participate in a lot of the forums, and in terms of your spam segment, we'll collect all the things that get sent to all of our clients from our office. We get all of your junk mail that they think we should reply to as well. So we can collect those, and some of the really curious questions that we get from our office, we could almost have some laughable conversations just through what comes through our office.
So if we keep it mostly beer-related, can I occasionally sneak in like a non-beer-related, totally creepy legal question? Would that be all right, too?
Yeah, we're prepared to do that. We're a full-service law firm. So.
I love it. We're just trying to help people out. That's all. I want to keep everybody out of trouble. All right, let's get out of here, folks. We will see you next week with Noble Ale Works. JP, take care of things, will you?
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. John and Alex from Ironfire Brewing jaunted all the way up from Temecula, California to be with us here in the studio, and for that, we thank them. If you just can't get enough of JP, and really, who can't, check out his non-beer podcast, Disneyland-centric bullshit called Ears Up. Check out that sucker at earsuppodcast.com, and remember that's ears with a Z, because I'm stupid. Warren pretended like he knew all about it. For some good beer insight at Home Brewing, follow Nate Smith and Nathan Homber and Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. That's on Twitter, by the way. Production director on the session has been Push Eject. Today's show has been produced by Scott Moskowitz. JP was waiting to go home and work at his garrison all night. Bevo was drinking coconut water out of a real coconut while starving children in Africa swatted flies away from their open mouths. And your host was Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brew Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his chair.